If you've ever asked Santa politely for the market to cooperate, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Thursday, December 11th edition for 2025. We had Oracle earnings yesterday. We've got Broadcom and Lulu today, and we had the Fed yesterday. We did get the rate cut that we were all anticipating. The market ripped higher as QE is back on, and then we sold off in the after hours. And then today we reversed in the pre-market, so should be a wild day out there. We're going to get you set up for all of it. Hope that y'all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We're going to have a great Thursday here today. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for December 11th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. Happy Thursday. Hopefully you all are having a great one here today. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces, as it always is. And today, Solitary Soldier is first. Good morning, everyone. Yelling it from the mountaintops. Let's start the day off with some positivity right there. We'll absolutely do that. Good morning, Solitary. Welcome back. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Brent, what are you trading here today? Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, so fine. Good morning, Ryan. I hope Santa is kind today in the market with the interest rate cut. Well, yeah, so fine. You are in good luck so far here this morning, because when I woke up, the futures looked under pressure. I got in the shower and came back, and I was like, how is this so far up off the lows? SPY looking like it might go red-green here. NASDAQ, the same thing. So you might get your wish here. Yeah, so fine. Good stuff. Sun-Kissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Producer is locked in as he always is. Zach McCracken is back. Let's go, Zach. Good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Eastern, good morning. Welcome back. 2011 Studies, good morning. Although that might look like spam. Hopefully you're not a bot. Otherwise, we'll have to change some things. But anyway, until we figure that out, good morning. Welcome back. Neville, good morning. Jane, good morning. Kevin, good morning. Going to be an up day. Kevin, like I was just saying, futures are reversing. Is that boding for good things to come? We'll see. So far, so good. Richard Judge, good morning. Flag Drones. Howdy, y'all, from Flagstaff, Arizona. Flagstaff, isn't that the city in Arizona that like will get snow when Arizona's like 80 degrees otherwise because it's at elevation? Is that the right one? I think so. Anyway, welcome from Flagstaff. Mountain Time traders, Mountain Time and Pacific Time traders. Y'all are the real MVPs, that's for sure. Speaking of Pacific traders, Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. G-Cord, good morning. Welcome back. Rooster, good morning. I was reading that Oracle has massive debt of $125 billion. $25 billion, that's due in 3 years. They seem to be drowning in debt. We're going to cover the Oracle earnings report. They do indeed have a lot of debt. We'll cover all of the things that's moving it there. We actually had a discussion about Oracle last night in happy hour in terms of like buy zones. So we'll probably cover some of those levels here today too, Rooster. I still think they're going to be an AI backbone stock, and that is going to continue into next year and years beyond. So we'll take a look at Oracle in depth here today, I'm sure. Angelito, good morning. Welcome back. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Bobby, good morning. Graf, good morning. Bernhard, good morning. Just passing through. And HK Matt, good morning. Wiss, good morning. Good to see you again. I am not ignoring you, Wiss. Don't ever say that again. JK, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Today, gave it right back overnight. We'll see where we finish here today, though, Bri. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Archangel, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Knights Lance, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Just Some Guy, good morning. Pete, good morning. Kimosabi, good morning. Robot, good morning. Lambo Rolls, good morning. A Cab, good morning. You're excited to join us live. We're excited to have you. We are excited to have you. You just found yourself a great community without a doubt. Victor, good morning. Joe, good morning. Dirkus, good morning. Scarlett, good morning. Appreciate that. Why we always low on likes on this show. It's amazing. Scarlett, appreciate that. Appreciate all of the kind words. Y'all folks, the like really helps us out. And all of that. I know that the people here look at stuff like that. So really appreciate you and appreciate you shouting that out to others. Dara, good morning. Best Life, good morning. Marty C is my 2011 study. Sorry about that. The message just read like that. Nonetheless, you're good. Welcome. Nancy, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, good morning. Let's see. Who else did I miss? 08 Rouse Stage 3. How could I miss the Rouse 3? Good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning as always. Sir Benny Blanco, good morning as always. Flag Drone says Route 66 at 7,500 feet. Boy, I bet I could hit some 300 plus yard drives out at 7,500 feet. That'd be fun. Eric, good morning. Welcome back. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Our stock market today. All right, futures rebounding from their earlier pressure that it saw. S&P futures are actually down 0.3%, but these are considerably up off of the overnight lows. The Dow futures wasted no time. They've already gone red-green here this morning. Dow futures are up 0.05%. Those also were lower. And the NASDAQ down 0.49%. That too, just like the S&P, also up off the lows. Possible red-green on deck here today. Now let's take a look at some cues from last session. Industrials, materials, and consumer discretionary stocks led the gains on Wednesday, helping most S&P 500 sectors close positively, though utility stocks bucked the trend and finished lower. The Federal Reserve delivered a 25 basis point rate cut that we were all expecting on Wednesday, bringing the rates down to 3.5% to 3.75%, a third consecutive reduction that met expectations but exposed a widening policy divide within the central bank. Additionally, the central bank said it will implement quantitative easing by resuming the purchase of short-term treasury bills, approximately $40 billion per month. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.14%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.8%. Now, we do have several stocks in focus here, and the first one is the big one. It is Oracle, ticker ORCL, tumbled 11% after posting mixed second quarter financial results for fiscal 2026 after the close on Wednesday. That is still down here today. And like I said, we are going to cover this and take a look at the chart. Oracle actually rolling over. It looks like the low it put in the after hours yesterday was 192. We're currently at 194 here. And that's actually fallen a little bit. Broadcom is the next stock on our list here. That's ticker AVGO. That dropped 1.98% ahead of its earnings scheduled to be released after the closing bell. Analysts are expecting $186 per share on revenue of $17.149 billion for the latest quarter. Costco, my favorite store. Costco also on deck here today. That's ticker COST. It was 0.18% higher as analysts expect earnings of $5.39 per share on revenue of $6.11 billion for the latest quarter. That also comes out after the closing bell. Adobe is another stock in focus. That was 0.62% despite posting better than expected fourth quarter results. Adobe said it also sees fiscal 2026 GAAP EPS of $17.90 to $18.10 versus the estimate of $16.56. The last stock on our list here today is going to be Planet Labs, ticker PL. Shares climbed 16.42% after reporting third quarter revenue of $81.25 million, which beat the analyst estimate of $71.99 million. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. Let me get my chart tool up here, and we will see where the SPY is sitting. Here is what it looks like. It is still flashing that breakout from the sideways area that we have been trading in here today. I've got a value here of 688 in the pre-market. One of the things that we're still looking for here is that all-time high breach. That's 689.70. It actually looked like we might test that yesterday, although SPY was rejected at 689. The other thing we want to take a look at here is going to be the high from Friday, December 5th. That value is 688.39. The high from yesterday, 688.97. So that 688 to 689 level, very clearly that is our upside resistance and our key level here today. If the market does, in fact, continue to make its rebound here and go red-green. Otherwise, we're definitely going to be taking a look. Let's actually look at the inside chart here for SPY, and we'll show you what that looks like. Another key level that I'd be looking at here, 682. We definitely used that as support multiple times. We actually had wicks beneath where the buyers bought the market back up after that. When we sold off in the overnight session, we moved back down towards that level, but never really breached it. So to me, 682 is going to be a downside. So if that cracks, we'll look for another downside level. In fact, on this 682 level, you can see the support here pretty much going all the way back to Thursday, December 4th. Once we popped above that, we really have used this level as support. I would imagine that that is going to come into play here today. Now, if that support ends, going back to the daily chart here, we still have the 50 and the 20 basically around 674 to 675. We also have our downward sloping trend line right around that same area. So I would imagine that that would be our further support level if we continue to move down here today on the SPY. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts here. Expert rate, Federal Reserve's latest 25 basis point rate cut and resumed Treasury purchases are sharply divided. Stop me if you've heard that before. Michael Burry criticized the plan to restart monthly bill purchases as evidence of systemic weakness rather than stability. He stated, quote, "I would add that if the U.S. banking system can't function without $3 trillion plus in reserve life support from the Fed, that is not a sign of strength," end quote. Burry further warned a practical limit of this might be full nationalization of the U.S. bond market. The Fed owns all 40 trillion U.S. debt, so party on, I guess, end quote. Similarly, economist Peter Schiff, labeled the strategy QE5, arguing that QE by any other name is still inflation. Schiff predicted policy backfire, cautioning it won't be long before the Fed expands and extends QE5 to longer dated maturities, while asking rhetorically, got gold? I'll be honest, as soon as I read this morning, I was like, where's Lion? He's got to be fist pumping like you've never seen before. King Gold, as he likes to call it, looks like him and Peter Schiff are completely aligned with that. Conversely, Wall Street analysts remain optimistic. Jeffrey Roach of LPL Financial declared Goldilocks is here, citing favorable economic projections. Gina Bolvin of Bolvin Wealth Management added that the soft landing without oversteering, though Bill Adams of Comerica Bank noted the Fed's navigating a data vacuum. All right, let's talk about Oracle now. That was the big report. We'll start with the chart, then we'll dive into some of the stats and the actual print itself. Here we go. So here's what Oracle looks like. Now, the chart is important because recently it did look like we kind of bottomed, and there were several things that told us about that. First of all, we came down to the 200, used it as support, retested it, broke it, but didn't really move down a whole lot from that level. In fact, right here on Tuesday, November 25th, we got this kind of bullish candle where it looked like we were going to go lower. Buyer stepped in and said, not so fast. We retested the 200, this time to the upside, and couldn't get through it on the first attempt, but several days later did end up moving through it. Now we've reported earnings, and all of that work that we've been doing has been lost. This is actually rolling back over to the lows from November 25th. We'll see if this breaks. If it does, I do have this 500-day as your next downside target. That's currently at 170.83. So if you wanted to say 170 to 171 as an area there, that would make a lot of sense. It's also worth noting, if you look on the chart here, there's a gap fill that's right down here at about 180. It's like 179 and change, but it's basically down here. Deal not been filled. So if we can fill that, that also might be constructive. I also want you to pay attention to the RSI. While we're not yet in oversold territory, we're actually pretty close, 32.8 here on the RSI. So the big thing that we're looking for here on Oracle is where's the area to buy this? Because at some point, this is going to be a buy. We did a discussion on this in the happy hour yesterday, and there was a pretty good consensus among some of the more conservative traders or conservative investors, I guess. This would be more on the investment side than the trade side. That we're really kind of looking at this area in here. This represents a consolidation area, and we really kind of came out with 160 to 170, really more 160 to 165-ish, but the whole range there, about 160 to 170. It's worth noting that the 100-week moving average is at 173. So a little bit more down pressure into a kind of a previous consolidation area. This actually might make for a pretty decent spot for Oracle's chart to bounce here a little bit as well. Now, let's actually take a look at the earnings report itself. Oracle posted for fiscal 2026 after the market closed yesterday. It reported second quarter revenue of $16.06 billion. That missed the analyst estimate of $16.21 billion. Very, very small miss there. The software giant said adjusted earnings grew 54% year over year to $226 per share, beating analyst estimates of $164 per share. Total revenue was up 14% on a year-over-year basis, and cloud revenue climbed 24%. Software revenue fell 3%. The breakdown by segment is as follows. Cloud, $8 billion. That's up 34%. Cloud infrastructure, $4.1 billion. That was up 68%. Cloud application, $3.9 billion, up 11%. Fusion Cloud ERP, $1.1 billion. That was up 18%. Suite Cloud ERP was $1 billion. That was up 13%. Remaining performance obligations totaled $523 billion at the end of the second quarter. That was up 438% year over year. Oracle exited the period with approximately $19.24 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Quote, "We are committed to cloud neutrality because we believe our customers should be able to run their Oracle databases in any cloud they choose. The strategy is definitely paying off. Our multi-cloud database is growing business up 817% in Q2. That came from Mike Cilia, CEO of Oracle. Oracle's board declared a quarterly cash dividend of 50 cents per share payable on January 23rd of next year to shareholders of record of January 9th of next year. Oracle chairman and CTO Larry Ellison noted Oracle sold more Ampere because the company no longer believes it's strategic to design and manufacture its own chips. Quote, "We're now committed to a policy of chip neutrality where we work closely with all our CPU and GPU suppliers. Of course, we will continue to buy the latest GPUs from NVIDIA, but we need to be prepared and able to deploy whatever chips our customers want to buy." So again, Oracle traded down on this. I do have a little bit more stuff over here. Oracle's backlog soaring to $523 billion, and they added $15 billion to the 2026 CapEx. Oracle is doubling down on its artificial intelligence ambitions, forecasting a $15 billion increase in capital expenditures for fiscal 2026 to fulfill a record-breaking $523 billion backlog. Maybe got backlog for sure. Along with an additional $4 billion in sales by fiscal 2027 amid faster backlog conversion. The database giant reported a mixed second quarter, beating earnings estimates with a 50% jump in adjusted EPS to $226, but missing revenue expectations at $16.06 billion. However, the focal point for Wall Street was the company's remaining performance obligations, or RPOs, which exploded to $523 billion, up 433% year over year. To convert these contracts into revenue, Oracle must rapidly build its infrastructure. Principal Financial Officer Doug Kehring announced that fiscal 2026 CapEx would be approximately $15 billion higher than previously forecasted. Quote, "We will pursue further business expansion only when it meets our profitability requirements." That came from Doug Kehring, noting that the backlog includes massive contracts with AI leaders like NVIDIA and Meta. Despite the immediate costs, management remains bullish on the payout. The company raised its fiscal 2027 revenue outlook by $4 billion, citing the accelerated conversion of its massive backlog. While cloud infrastructure revenue with cloud infrastructure revenue already up 66% and 64 new cloud regions planned, Oracle is betting will secure its dominance in the AI era. And this also plays into, this stock is probably a buy when it gets low enough, especially if it starts to exhaust some of its sellers. And that it seems like that's the spot that we're kind of waiting out right now. The sharp rise in spending ignited concerns over free cash flow, which sat at a negative $10 billion for the quarter. Daniel Newman, CEO of the Futurum Group, acknowledged the market's skittishness, but defended the strategy. Quote, Oracle is tricky short term, but long term, I believe investments, end quote. He argued that the after-hours sell-off was an overreaction, likening Oracle's capital-intensive pivot to necessary foundational shifts seen elsewhere in big tech. Quote, Oracle has to do what it's doing, even if it means short-term volatility, end quote. Newman emphasized that the company is effectively positioning itself as a critical pillar of AI infrastructure. Now, I'll be honest, I already had this as a critical pillar of AI infrastructure. To me, nothing has changed here. This is something that we have been discussing for a long time. This was kind of also one of the plays like a secondary play. Like, you don't just buy NVIDIA because they make the GPUs. Rather, Oracle might be a good buy there because it's part of the entire infrastructure backbone. Shares tumbled 11.53% in after-hours trading, and after gaining on Wednesday. Year to date, shares were 33.83% higher, whereas they rose by 25.65% over the past month. So despite the pullback here, Oracle is still actually having a pretty good year. Again, if we want to go back to the chart here real quick, if it holds this low, one other thing that we'd be looking for. So let me actually give you a level here. Let's call this. I almost say 190 to make it easy, but if we zoom in here, it looks like the range of this candle is pretty much what I'm looking at here. The low of this candle is 185.63, and the high of this candle is 199.41. So I really think that this 190-ish level, maybe not that number right on the dot, but if we can hold that level here today, perhaps we can make a move back towards that 200 and that 20-day moving average. We'll see how it all shakes out here with Oracle. Now, I had to include this story here today just because, I guess you could say, for the lulz. Elon Musk claims that Tesla robots will just follow you around to stop crimes. A prison-free future where you can do anything except break the law. I mean, okay, producer, we did a poll about self-driving car, if whether or not people were comfortable with self-driving cars driving their kids to school. I think we should probably also do a poll. Do you want a Tesla robot to follow you around and essentially be RoboCop for you? Your own personal RoboCop. Let's do that as a poll there. Back to the story here. Forget RoboCop. Elon Musk's vision for the future of law enforcement skips the guns and courtroom drama and jumps straight into the uncanny valley of artificial intelligence. His pitch? Give everyone a Tesla Optimus robot, not to help fold laundry, but to quietly shadow you and make sure you don't commit crimes. That's it. No prison bars, just persistent AI-powered accountability. Now, the first thing that I want to throw in here is that, first of all, if someone's going to give me an Optimus robot, I will graciously accept it, number one. But number two, if you're going to give me a robot that you're going to promise can stop crime, it should also be able to fold my laundry, I feel like. I feel like that's just kind of a no-brainer. I want the robot to fold my laundry. Probably would do a better job folding my laundry. You ever tried folding a fitted sheet? That thing just drives me crazy. So let's hope the robot can actually do that. Quote, if you say, like, you now get a free Optimus and it's just going to follow you around and stop you from doing crime, but other than that, you get to do anything, it's just going to stop you from committing a crime. That's really it, end quote. Musk said he said this at the Tesla annual shareholder last month. Okay. When will police departments insist on having Optimists instead of humans? Now that I know I'm kind of having fun with the story, day trader, but that's a legitimate question. And part of me wonders if they're ever going to move that way, to be quite honest with you. Tenzin and we're all vengeance. Frozen King says, follow me, make it a condition of bail. I don't see how a robot nanny is my benefit. James says it would be fun to watch. I would hack and turn into my personal Terminator. Day Trader says, we're cooked, Chad. This is exactly the type of reaction that I was hoping when I came across the story here. Okay. Lost my train of thought there. Before launching into the more out there knowledge that many were already thinking, this stuff sounds wild. And yes, he knows people will clip it, spin it, and take it out of context. Some of these things I say will obviously be taken out of context and using snippets and, sitting around, but whatever, I'm still going to say them. Musk wasn't just tossing around ideas about robot butlers or AI-powered chefs. And I'd be honest with you, when it comes to chef and cooking, still think we want to keep humans in the loop there. Just my 2 cents. He was floating a radical replacement for incarceration, arguably one of society's most entrenched institutions, with a walking, talking, never blinking robot that enforces behavior in real time. Quote, you don't have to put people in prisons, he added. It's pretty wild to think of all of the possibilities, but I think it's clearly the future, end quote. Kush League says, quote, you have 20 seconds to comply. Chat, it's still early, and y'all folks are not letting anybody down. That is for sure. Absolutely awesome. Optimus, which was first unveiled in 2020, is designed as a general purpose bipedal humanoid robot with autonomous capabilities. Musk said the robot could eventually become more precise than a best human surgeon. Quote, Optimus will ultimately be better than the best human surgeon with a level of precision that is beyond human, end quote. That is actually interesting. Still feel a little weird about a robot doing a surgery. And I'd be interested to see, do the athletes that have like ACL reconstructions, do they still go see Neil Attaché, or do they actually opt for the robot surgery that is, quote, more precise? We'll see how it shakes out. The Tesla CEO suggested that Optimus might even help eliminate poverty by providing affordable medical care and services. Optimus will actually eliminate poverty. Optimus will actually give people incredible medical care. So where's all this going? Musk describes his vision as Banksian, referring to author Ian M. Banks. I hope I pronounced that right. I've never read that name before. And his Culture series, where AI and robots exist in a mostly utopian future. To be honest with you, this sounds more and more wild as we keep going through the story. Quote, if you're curious, like, what do I think the future is probably like? I think it's probably a bit like that, end quote. Musk said, also giving a nod to sci-fi legends Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein. Those I both know. Great sci-fi authors, really probably the pinnacle of that genre. For those watching the bleeding edge of tech or looking to invest in what's next, this isn't just a random off-the statement. It's a signal. A world where robots serve as doctors, caretakers, and even mobile crime prevention units is no longer confined to science fiction. From AI precision in surgery to robot-assisted law enforcement, Tesla's Optimus hints at a future where entire industries could be rewritten. And I one of the reasons I wanted to cover this story is there's a lot of reasons. It's interesting, it's funny, but the other thing is, or some of the quotes I guess I should say are funny. The other thing is that we talked about recently that Tesla's driver of the business. A lot of you folks look at Tesla as a technology company rather than a car company. And when Musk outlines the vision for some of these fantastical things that these robots can do, it makes some of those valuations like, yeah, maybe they are a little bit realistic. Now, I guess it's just my nature to always be a little bit skeptical. I can't personally envision a world where there are just robots and healing people. But I suppose if we get there, it might be better than the alternative. I don't know. I would love to get your folks' opinion on all of this. Just some guy. I wish they would stop pushing these bipedal robots, though. Legs make sense on people because we might need to climb over a rock. But if the robot won't, then give it wheels or tracks so it doesn't fall down so easy when the battery runs out. My first thought about that was that I have like a innate fear of letting my phone get to zero battery. In fact, I have some of my friends who are just not affliction at all. They'll send me screenshots and I'll look at the screen, mostly for like bets and stuff, like funny stuff that they see on the internet. And I'll look at the screenshot and I'm like, bro, your phone is at like 4% battery. Like, how are you even like breathing normal right now? Like, you need to get that thing on the charger. So I would imagine that I'd keep my robot charged and I wouldn't let the battery run. Can you imagine how embarrassing? You're just walking down the street and your robot just boom, it just dies or falls over. I mean, that wouldn't be good at all. That wouldn't be good at all. Yeah, producer, whenever that poll result is ready, this might be one of the polls that I am eagerly awaiting the results of that. So keep us posted. I definitely I want to hear what you folks think. You guys have already outdone your. I can't wait to hear our visions for a robot future. Okay, one of the other things that happened here, the House passed a $900 billion defense bill with pay hikes, troop mandates, and DEI cuts. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a comprehensive defense policy bill authorizing a staggering $900 billion for military programs, including provisions for a pay raise for troops, yes, and among others. The House passed the National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, on Wednesday with 12 to 112 vote. The bill, which typically garners bipartisan support, is seen as a significant move amid the growing tensions between the Republican-led Congress and the Trump administration over military management. The legislation provides a 3.8% increase for many service members effective January 1st. Happy New Year. It also mandates upgrades to military bases and housing. Probably a good idea. Service members with families will receive this raise along with hiked monthly allowances from $250 to $400 per month when deployed or separated from their families for 30 days or longer. The legislation requires the Pentagon to keep at least 76,000 troops and key equipment in Europe, ensuring consultation with NATO allies, and sets a minimum of 28,500 U.S. troops in South Korea. The bill also proposes cutting DEI programs and offices. House leadership kept the vote open for an hour as Speaker Mike Johnson persuaded from no to yes, with Representative Thomas Massie remaining the sole Republican opposing the rule. On Wednesday, Representative Massie also introduced legislation to withdraw the U.S. from NATO, calling it, quote, a Cold War relic, end quote. The move has intensified the internal Republican debate over the alliance. Now, the important part about this story, obviously, outside of the increased benefits to our service members, thank you for your service, all of you out there, both active and inactive. The big thing here is that this is likely going to affect a lot of these defense stocks. We've talked a lot about these defense stocks as possible trade candidates, both here and in the Happy Hour show. The passing of this bill comes at a time when the U.S. is reevaluating its global military commitments. Also, the defense sector is surging due to U.S. policy, global geopolitical risks, and increased budgets. Under Trump, highlighted by the July 4th One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which injected $156.2 billion into defense, the Pentagon's largest boost in over a decade. On a year-to-date basis, the iShares U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF, or ticker ITA, and the Global X Defense Tech ETF, ticker SHLD, surged 41.13% and 72.98% respectively, which outperformed the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF VOO and the tech-heavy Invesco QQQ at 17 and 23% gains. So again, the reason I'm highlighting this story, I know AI, tech, automation, all of that stuff were themes here, but the other theme that's going on is the boost to defense spending. And just simply looking at these ETFs, you can see that outperformance was pretty huge. Stocks in focus are Lockheed Martin, ticker LMT, RTX, ticker RTX, that's RTX Corporation, and General Dynamics, ticker GD. They returned 2.48, 23.21, and 24.07 respectively for the past 6 months. Okay. Next story here. Bernie Sanders is making some more news. He says that Mark Zuckerberg's Louisiana data center will use 3 times more electricity than all of New Orleans and implores people to fight back against billionaires. On Wednesday, Senator Bernie Sanders escalated his criticism of big tech's energy demands, warning that Meta, ticker META, planned Louisiana data center could consume electricity at a scale that outstrips entire U.S. cities, while leaving the ordinary taxpayer to shoulder the cost. Sanders took to X to raise alarms about the explosive growth in AI data centers and the strain they may place on the nation's power grid. He said Meta is constructing a facility in Louisiana that will use 3 times more electricity than all of New Orleans, adding that the public, not billionaires, will ultimately pay for the surge in energy demand. Quote, oligarchs want you to pay for these data centers with higher water and electricity bills. Americans must fight back against billionaires who put, end quote. Sanders also shared a video in which he referenced additional large-scale products, including one reportedly tied to OpenAI and Oracle in Texas. He said that the facility alone could consume enough power to serve 750,000 homes, while another Meta site could match the electricity needs of 1.2 million households. Now, local communities are pushing back. Some cities are already resisting mega projects over concerns about rising energy bills, water usage, and property values. Sanders previously praised residents in St. Charles, Missouri, after opposing reportedly forced developers to abandon a proposed 448. Sanders' remarks come as energy experts warn of a rapid rise in data center demand driven by AI. Earlier, McKinsey and Company report found that data centers could now account for a record 5% of total U.S. electricity consumption, with that share potentially more than doubling within 5 years. The report projected nearly $7 trillion in global data center infrastructure spending by 2030, with the U.S. representing more than 40% of the projected investment. McKinsey attributed about 40% of future power demand growth to AI and high-performance computing, fueled by hyperscalers, including Amazon's Web Services, that's ticker AMZN, Microsoft, ticker MSFT, and Azure and Alphabet's GOOG and GOOGL's Google Cloud. So this story to me is more of a confirmation of the energy being a theme in 2026. We've talked about this a number of times already. I know there's several folks that have already made a lot. I mean, GEV comes to mind, and we're going to take a look at that stock because I actually do have a trade plan, particularly if it pulls back there. But this to me confirms that energy, again, is going to be a very, very key theme, if you will, in 2026. And I think that that is going to make for investments and trades for us going forward here. The thing is, NVIDIA guy said China will be the data center hub. I think you're referring to Jensen Huang, right? We also talked about data centers in space. That was actually something that we've had multiple discussions on Happy Hour. We actually talked about it last night. SIDU actually came up in that discussion, SIDU. Okay, how much time do I have? Oh, we're good. We're doing good here on time. All right, now let's actually talk about GEV, ticker GEV. That is GE Vernova. We'll start with the chart here. We'll break up some of the news. Here's what we're looking at for GEV. Now, I'm going to say right off the top here, we are definitely getting the movement that I had hoped for. So here is the trade plan that I am hoping comes to fruition. We don't have enough data for this yet. We'll have to see how it all shakes out, but this is what I'm hoping for. What we have here on GEV is an earnings pop to a new all-time high. So we talk a lot about gaps and islands pretty frequently. This is a unique situation that I just absolutely love to trade. Now, I don't have an actual spreadsheet with a calculated percentage of wins to losses on this. I probably should do that. The way I kept my journal at the early stages of trading, I did not include enough information to make this calculation easy. So I'm just kind of speculating. But I learned this strategy from someone who's been doing this for 40 plus years, and his results confirm my results. What I'm looking for here is a potential floating island setup. Now, a floating island, as mentioned, is when the candle gaps into a new all-time high or a new area where there's no price activity to the left. So if I look to the left, it's never been up in this area before, okay? It's different. Like if we take a look at Carvana, for example, I just want to show you what it looks like on the other side. All right, let's go back to a daily chart here. All right, so I'm trying to figure, yeah, so like right here, when Carvana gapped up here, it looked gapped into a new price area. Like if you were looking at the chart like this, you're like, all right, gap to an all-time high. But if you look more to the left, you're like, no, we had that price action before. On the GEV setup, it's different. There's never been this price action before. So the way that I want to trade this, and I don't know if this is going to happen, this is a perfect scenario. I want to have GEV pull back. I want to have all of these people that have either been in this for just the binary event. I want them to flip out of it. And for those that are a long-term holder, perhaps take some profit here. Let's drive this price down, but let's hold this candle. Two values on this candle that you should take note of. One, the actual bottom of the candle itself. It looked like I was eyeballing it there at 681. The low of this candle here is 679. That is the actual dead drop low. So 679, definitely an area that it needs to hold. But I would also like this to hold the bottom of the body. This would actually make me feel a little bit better, if you will, that the trade has a higher percentage, right? That value down there is 692.15. So 679 and 692.15 are the two key areas here. If the stock pulls back and holds that area and doesn't break down and look like it wants to fill this gap, the next move is, I got to be very careful about my language here because nothing is a certainty. The next move is almost always a retest of the top end of that range. So in other words, just stripping the numbers out, if the price moves down and holds the bottom of this previous range, it's likely going to move back up and test the top of that range. I've seen this happen over and over and over and over again, and it really comes down to what happens if it does test the back end of this range. The most recent banger winner that we had off of a floating island trade was this ALAB one. Look how good this trade worked. This was actually a little bit more difficult too. You had to be patient, which is not my primary skill, that anyone will tell you that. Back here in August, ALAB gapped up, and at the time, it had created this new price area that we just talked about. There was no action before it. It traded up. It actually, the very next day, it traded down a little bit, but it didn't get to the bottom of this candle. Now, depending on how conservative or how aggressive you are at trading the setup, maybe that was a buying opportunity because it did exactly what we hoped for. It pulled back, stayed within the range, was actually an inside candle. And then guess what happened? It didn't break down. It didn't show strength to fill the gap. So it started to curl back up. Now, in this case, we had a large trend line here. It went right to the trend line. And then it backed off, and look where it held. Look where it held. That is not a coincidence, folks. It literally held the bottom of this candle. And once it did that, we were off to the races. It moved from 161 to 262 at a high. Now, the date for this happened between August 20th and September 18th. That's a month. So this setup right here, the floating island setup, I don't know that we're going to get this, but this is what I am prepared for. If GEV pulls back and it holds above this gap range, I am looking to add for a swing position. And although the ALAB example that we just took a look at showed a month, these are going to be expensive. If you're going to play this with options, these are going to be expensive. So maybe you do want to play the 1 month as opposed to 2 months. We want to make sure that we give this enough time to really resolve. And so we'll see if how GEV trades here today. But again, what I'm looking for is a move back down to the bottom end of this range. If it holds there, go long, and then it should trade up to the top end of the range. Hopefully, it breaks the top end of that range and goes on a run, much like ALAB did, much like the ALAB chart that we just showed. If that's the case, then this is a prime example here. When let's say you want to do this on the cheap, and let's say you are going to use options. It comes back down here. Everything looks golden. It holds the bottom end of this range. You buy 2 calls. All right. Very, very small position. It trades back up to the top. When it gets to this resistance area, that is an opportune time to lock in some of those gains by selling one of those contracts and then leaving the other contract in case we break and go higher. Now, if we don't break and it looks like it's going to roll back over, you can just kind of close that, put a stop on it, whatever you do for your own risk reward. But again, I am stalking this setup. I will update you if I do get a fill on any of this. Now, sorry for the long-winded explanation of the setup. What's going on with GE Vernova? Shares are trading higher Wednesday after the Massachusetts-based technology company raised its multi-year outlook. It now expects to bring in $52 billion in revenue and generate 20% adjusted EBITDA margin by 2028, which is higher than its previous forecast of $45 billion and 14% adjusted EBITDA. By 2028, the company also expects cumulative free cash flow of $22 billion, up from $14 billion. During its 2025 investor update, GE Vernova reaffirmed current fiscal year, telling investors that it expects results to land in the high end of $36 to $37 billion. The company also expects free cash flow for its fiscal year to be between $3.5 billion and $4 billion. up from a previous forecast of 3 to 3.5. Quote, at GE Vernova, we are in the early chapters of an incredible value creation opportunity with a stronger financial trajectory ahead. That came from GEO. That came from GE Vernova CEO Scott Strazik. Quote, electrical power will be critical to unlocking economic growth in the decades ahead, and we are well positioned with our large install base and platform of advanced solutions to serve this growing long cycle market. We just finished a story about Bernie Sanders saying, you gotta fight the oligarchs. There's going to be it's going to cost too much. Well, looks like some of these companies are anticipating that, and it looks like we've kind of identified one of these themes that we can trade. The company's board increased the quarterly dividend from 25 cents to 50 cents and raised its stock repurchase authorization to 10 billion from 6 billion. The company noted that it's already repurchased 3.3 billion of the allotted amount. Now, several analysts have price targets on the stock after the investor update. Susquehanna analyst Charles Minervino maintained a positive rating and raised the price target from 750 to 775. Bank of America securities analyst Andrew Obin maintained a buy rating and raised the price target from 725 to 804. And BMO Capital analyst Amit Thakar maintained an outperform and raised the price target from 710 to 780. And I believe we'll check in with him here in a sec, but I believe 13 also has a fairly aggressive price target on ticker GEV as well. That actually makes for a really good segue. Maybe I should just go ahead and bring 13 on. Yeah, let's do it. 13, good morning. How you doing, boss?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing.
How's everybody?
Everyone seems like they're really good here. It's Thursday. Yassine is apologizing for being late. Yassine, I appreciate that, but if you haven't noticed, I don't take attendance, so you're good. Don't worry. We don't give any tardy slips around here. We're not in high school anymore. We were just talking about GE Vernova here, ticker GEV. I know this has been a massive winner for you. You were on this very, very early. I was outlining the floating island setup just a second ago. We kind of talked a little bit about this on Happy Hour, but I went into depth here about the floating island setup. And I just read some price targets here for GEV. So I'll just start with that. What is your price target for this?
Well, I'm thinking that if we continue with this upside, there's a possibility we might see 800 before the end of the year. There's no guarantee.
Of course, no guarantees in any of this. You're right.
But if we hit 800 that fast, I think we're going to keep going. I still think this is going to outperform a lot of these price targets that some of the analysts are putting out there. JP Morgan had an interesting one at 1,000, and I'm pretty on board with that price target, and it's because I have a long-term horizon with GEV. So if you're thinking, this is going to go to 1,000 in a matter of months, I'm looking out much further than that. So maybe it does get there pretty quick. Maybe it doesn't, but I have a long-term time horizon on this. I was going to originally unload around 700. Had a talk with my financial advisor, and we were thinking, I was just trying to, see how, we have these rules. If it goes up to a certain point in a certain period of time, we kind of jump out of some of these shares. And after talking, we were like, you know what, we're just going to ride this, and we're just going to see where this goes. So price target 1,000 maybe, but right now in the nearer term, I'm looking for 800.
Okay. Really good breakdown. There you go on GEV.
I think Penzin's right too, that we will pull back. This has had a really big move up. It's not to the point where it's at an RSI that it's I
forgot to mention. Thank you, 13.
But because this could still push higher. But I'm looking for right now a lot of back and forth up here above this gap.
Okay, that 13. Thank you for reminding me, because when I felt like I was hitting all of the different key points for the floating island trade, but the one I forgot to mention was the one that you just kind of touched on. A slight pullback here and a hold near the bottom of this range, that would actually do wonders for the RSI. And that might then help for that curl that we're hoping to capture back up and through the highs. That might help it by kind of resetting some of that. So really good mention there.
We've already seen higher RSI this year in January and in May. So, we could certainly get up to those RSIs again in this current run.
Yeah. Okay. And then real quickly here, I'm sure you folks have figured it out by now since we have 13 joining us a little bit earlier here. There is no future forward segment here today. They guess they had a schedule discrepancy. So you get more of 13 here, which means we're going to find more trades for you on this. Also here, real quick, Let's Be a Good Human says your segments are getting pretty good as of late, Ryan. Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely... you guys can get news anywhere. You can get news anywhere for free. You can turn on CNBC, you can turn on Bloomberg, you can go to Yahoo Finance, you can do all of that. You can pick and choose the news that you want to see. I'm trying to pick news here that does a couple of things. Number one, it's either informative and or entertaining. And number two, it dovetails with some of the themes that we look at every day, whether it's biotech, AI, robots, autonomous driving, any of that. And I try to differentiate it by having some fun with it. And I definitely want you folks to all be extremely well informed. I definitely want to present both sides of things in most cases. And I want it to be a little bit different than what you would get anywhere else. And so reading that feedback means that I am likely on the right track there. I appreciate that. Let's be a good human. Okay. 13, I know we've got some movers to go through, but would you mind if we took a look at another stock that reported earnings yesterday prior to doing that? Okay. Yassine is already on it. Yassine says SNPS trade thoughts. So let's do that. And I'll start 13. I don't know if you have looked at this yet or whatever, but I'll go ahead and start. Now, SNPS. Okay. Couple of things here. For me personally, this is a Bill Gates company. So just right off the top, it's in the negative column. Now that is secondary to the fact that if this chart really throws up a good setup, we'll definitely trade this one. And this stock is a monster. This stock moves a lot. You can make a lot. You can lose a lot on this too if you do it wrong, but you can make a substantial amount of money with this stock. Now, we're going to start actually with the inside chart here, or the 5-minute chart. You'll see that they reported earnings yesterday, and the stock closed at about 476. Big time pop above 520. And then look what happened. It bled everything back. It gave it all back. It actually took to this morning to completely round trip the move, but it gave it all back. Now, the market here is trading up off the lows. Synopsys is also trading up off the lows here in the pre-market, perhaps in conjunction with what the overall market is doing. But to Yassine's point here, the knee-jerk reaction to the earnings report was definitely a bullish one. Stock traded up pretty well. And so I'm wondering now if maybe we get a little bit of a delayed move up there. And because we have this really nice range, we've got great levels that might also act as support and resistance if we get there. So looking at the chart here, I'm thinking 494, 495 might be our first one. It actually did find some support here and bounced in the after hours yesterday before finally coughing it up and then using it as resistance. So I got to think this 494 to 495 area. I'd also probably guess 515. And then, yeah, what the hell? We'll put 522 up there, the top end of that wick. Now, really quick here, I didn't have an article for this. We probably don't really need it. Synopsys, adjusted earnings of 290 beat the 278 estimate, and sales of 2.25 billion beat the 2.24 billion estimate. So this is a beat on the top and the bottom line. And they issued guidance above estimates. So this is the triple beat that we look for. Beat on the top, beat on the bottom, and a guide raise. And that's exactly what we got here. Now, furthermore, adding to the potential upside here, especially if the market cooperates, we also got some price targets. So price target raised from 575 to 600 at KeyBank. Piper Sandler went from 630 to 602, so they actually lowered it. And Rosenblatt, they maintained their buy and maintained their 560 price target. Bank of America Securities upgraded Synopsys. They didn't just raise the price target. They actually upgraded it to a buy and moved that price target to 560. Now, that's 80 points away from where we're currently at. So I definitely think there could be a potential trade here. I would guess, Yassine, in 13, I guess this is where I'd like to get your opinion on this. I'd like to get your opinion on all of it, but especially on this. I'm thinking that the fact that we had a good catalyst, right? The report was good. We popped higher on the initial reaction. Sure, we gave it all back, but we really kind of held this level, and now it looks like we're curling up. Part of me wonders if we've flushed a little of these weak hands out, And now we can resume to the upside. Oh, by the way, we have the round 500 number 18 points away from where we're currently at. That is likely going to come into play too. So 13, well, let me move to the daily chart here because there's one other thing that I forgot to mention. We have a real awesome bullish setup sitting above here. We have the 200-day at 488.26. All right, so that's only 6 points away from where we're at in the pre-market here, given the rebound that it's had. We have a couple of moving averages above that, including the 100 at 501. That's right around the round $500 level. And then we also have the 500-day at about 519. Might be 518 by the time we get up there, if we do get up there. But above that, right here at about 514, we have a big time gap that goes up to about 600. Now, again, if we take a look at what happened here, where did this thing stop? Yeah, stopped at about 515. I know we had that one little wick there, but it found some resistance there at 515. So keep this in the back of your mind too. If Synopsys continues to trade higher here, we have a couple of pretty big moving averages that if it recaptures would look pretty good on the chart. And then we also have this huge gap. Now, the one thing is that on this rebound, we're currently at 70 on the RSI. So 13, any thoughts here on SNPS, the chart, the report, or otherwise?
Yeah, the run up into 520 coincides nicely with the 500-day SMA. So in the after hours, when they reported, it ran right up to that level and immediately hit sellers. I'll even share what the summary that I wrote for our happy hour meeting yesterday was on SNPS. Earnings beat sent the stock price up to the 500-day SMA, but this 520 level has a significant history of being support and resistance. So much so that it reversed the gap-filling price action in September. Following this report, support appears to be in the 475 to 480 range, with resistance still in the 510 to 515 range. So I still think that that's the case. And we did trade a little bit lower in the I think the after hours and pre-market of S&P 470, so just slightly beneath the area where I was looking at support. But on the way back up, I do like the 200-day SMA as an area. But above that, I think you have the 510 and 515 area, just shy of the 500-day SMA that has been providing some resistance every time the price gets up there. At least that's what's happened in September, and that's what's happened in May earlier this year. We had a breakthrough in July, but that ended up lasting only a few months before it came right back down and created that gap that you were mentioning.
Yep.
So if we do end up getting beyond that 510, 515 area, we're back into the gap fill territory. So that's pretty much what I've got here for SNPS.
I think that's pretty good stuff. So Yassine, let me know if that's was helpful for you. Yassine said, I read your report in happy hour. Thank you for that. 470 entering, selling at 515. Okay, so Yassine. So it looks like you already have a trade plan for this. Okay. Entry at 470, first profit target, or maybe a closing of the trade up there at 515. I mean, hey man, that's what, 45 points?
He's already doing great with this trade.
Absolutely. It's already working.
Excellent.
Already working. Well, way to go, Yassine. Yep. All right. Let's knock these movers out. What do you say?
Let's do it. And I'm sorry I didn't prepare for any of them because I had a bit of a hectic morning, but we can do it live.
Okay. Hopefully all is well.
Oh, yeah. Just,
Okay, great.
Regular everyday stuff.
Regular everyday stuff. Life is beautiful.
I just lost the time. That's all.
Yeah. The producer can tell you about that. On Monday, I looked at the time and I was like, oh my God, it starts in 30 seconds and I'm not ready. So that it is what it is.
That was a quick 30 seconds.
Oh boy, it sure was. Okay, first stock on the list here. This is actually one that we had traded not long ago, right? This is Black Titan, ticker BTTC. I feel like this one, when we traded it last time, was a halt fest, which is why I haven't traded this one, but we were looking at this as a show here. Pretty interesting, though. Black Titan shares are trading higher after the company unveiled its digital asset Treasury Plus framework and launched Pillar 1, focused on utility-driven digital asset deployment and cash flow potential. Okay, that does sound, at least the headline there, sounds very jargony here. Focused on utility-driven. Okay, so I actually am going to have to go through the PR here a little bit more. DAT Plus reflects our intention to evaluate digital assets through a holistic lens, from risk management and utility to liquidity, revenue alignment, and strategic collaboration. Each component is significant, and this series allows us to explain the framework in a clear and structured way. Well, I'll be honest, I don't even understand what your PR is saying here, so I'm not sure how great they're going to be at this. Under this approach, digital assets must demonstrate practical, functional roles within their native ecosystems, including enabling access to network services, participating in fee-based protocol activity, supporting on-chain operations such as staking and validation, and serving as a requirement for specialized product usage. So I guess like my knee-jerk reaction to this is that this is just making sure that these DAT strategies are actually going to be valuable. That's kind of how it reads to me. Day trader, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to take a look at this. I consider you the digital asset treasury guy. Let me know what you think about this, and if you haven't read it yet, no worries there. But just kind of curious. 13. Let me actually go through the rest of this here before I turn it over to you. Yawn so far. Okay, so this is much ado about nothing for day trader. Got it. That's good. I think that's a really good data point. A stock performance here, pretty good. Stock's up 200%. This thing closed at 350 yesterday. It looks like we printed above 10 here today. We're battling with 10 right now. Giddy up. This should be fun. Short interest on this name, 0.33% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. I would throw that in the negligible category. On average, the stock trades 275,000 shares. Today, it's done just shy of 20 million. Float here, 4.3 million. So this is right in the butter zone. Not the super low micro float, but low enough where it could actually make some pretty good moves. So 13, do you have any opinion on this, the news, the chart, or anything else?
So we did see this be a halt fest on October 2nd when it IPO'd. That was the day. And shortly after that day, on the 6th, they started to talk about a cryptocurrency investment strategy, and they were seeking a long-term strategic crypto initiative. I think that's more or less what the news we're getting here today. So I don't know how high this is going to drive the stock. Let's see here. I'm going to have to throw my headset here in a second. It's pissing me off. But we're through a lot of resistance areas. Most importantly, this sideways price action that we were getting. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at some price action of a stock that must have had the same ticker. So that's kind of screwing with my charts a little bit here. But we are still we were beneath the IPO price, and now we've recaptured it. Looks to me like the next area of major resistance, we're kind of at it. 940 to 985. Let me just double check. 983. So from about 930 to 983. There's this little gap here from October. That's what we're kind of dealing with right now. That might be the only other resistance area prior to 1135, and then we're in the day after the IPO where we completely sank down. So don't have a whole lot of data to go off of beyond that. The next area that you could probably even draw some kind of conclusion as to for resistance isn't going to be likely until about $24 after that. So okay, we'll see what we end up getting here. This thing, just know what you're trading, because this thing was gapping up for a good portion of the day on October 2nd, and then it just came right back in the very next day. So not one to hold on to, only trade. And even if you are trading this, I don't know that I want to stick around in it too long. It might halt on you.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. Christoph saying the IPO price was around 6, right? In fact, I have the per Benzinga Pro here. It opened on its IPO day at exactly 6, in fact. So yes, day trader here. Appreciate all of this. Essentially, well, let me go back. I think you had one more comment before that. The only earnings coins are ETH and Sol. Essentially, those are the big earners from staking. That's only 4 to 7%, unless you start implementing Fugazi. I earned 20% on some of my crypto, but there is leverage involved in the staking. Okay, so 13, I think your breakdown here was pretty good. This to me seems like a trade only. I would definitely be careful on this one, but could move here. It's obviously got the catalyst and has the right share structure.
And looking at just the 5-minute chart for the price action we've got since the impulse move, we're coming down to VWAP right now. So this is going to have to be a support area, and the only other one beneath it is going to be about 650. So if we're going to have to reverse here, and then if we can get back up into the 11s where we were earlier, because the high of the session is, or the pre-market is 1186, Looks like that area just above 11, like maybe 1130, 1140. That seems to be the resistance area. We have no closes up in that area, so maybe even 11 even. But that 11 handle, that's where the resistance currently is.
Okay, I'm chuckling here because I'm picking up on something here in the chat that I find rather amusing. This is not the first time I've seen something like this happen. Lion says, "I love snow," and Jay says, "Lion, snow hasn't had a green day since it missed earnings." And then Lion goes, "No. Brian was asking me about the snow in North Carolina, the real snow." I'm sorry. I'm amused by very, very simple things. Jay and Lion, you guys got it going on here this morning, and I will take it. I'm here for all of it. Okay. Next stock on the list here is going to be XIII, AXIL. This is Axle Brands. This stock popped above 14 here in the pre-market and did the maneuver, I guess we should say, that we see quite often here. It dropped beneath the VWAP. Then it tried to take out the VWAP by briefly trading over it. Really couldn't close above it and hold it. And lower we go. It looks like it's kind of pushing lower. Stop me if you've heard this before. It found some support at the 65 EMA. So that's kind of been a theme here this year, and it looks like that found some more support there. Axle did have some news here. Axle Brands announces national retail distribution agreement with Walmart. So looks like it's using Walmart's clout to move up here. Stock is up 82%. There's some more information here about all of that. If we want to go into that, we can do that in a little bit. Short interest on this name is negligible, 0.29% with 1 day to cover. It comes on an average volume of, not a typo, 14,000 shares. This thing barely even trades. Today, though, it's done 12.77 million, so I'm not surprised to see it up by 83%. Float on this one, 1.55 million. Definitely low enough to be pushed around. 13, do you have any thought here on AXIL?
Yeah, I'm just looking at a daily chart and noticing some trend lines. The most recent one you can draw from February's high and August's high, but we ended up blowing through that in the pre-market and going up to 1522. So looking at where that level is, I'm seeing some highs from back in 2023 and 2024 that might have something to do with that. But we went almost all the way up to some of the all-time highs with this. Now that all-time high is still up at $24, but it was only had 1 day in 2019 where it went up that high, and then it just came right back in. A lot of the bulk of the trading since then has been around 16, so got pretty close to going up to that area where those highs were. As far as to make of this price action, I don't know that we might get back above $10 and go on to see those pre-market or those after hours highs again. But there's a lot of resistance on the way up, especially at 12. It looks like 10, 12, and 14. Every $2, it seems like the price action runs out of steam or finds some sellers. So with that in mind, we're looking at $10 next for upside. We have to get clear of the VWAP first. We're trading between the VWAP and the 65 EMA right now. So one thing would have to happen soon is recapture that VWAP, recapture 10. You can see that in the pre-market here, we ran up to that $12 area, found resistance. So we know that's still intact. And that would be the next area after $10 in VWAP is 12. So let's see how high we can go.
Okay. All right. Really great breakdown there. AXIL, we shall see. Now, the next one here, we had talked about this too a little bit in the happy hour. And
did we finally get news?
Well, here's the thing. This appears like it's not factoring in today's move. We couldn't figure out. Actually, you know what? Let me check that first here. Did we actually get some? No, we didn't. All right. So yesterday, this got surfaced by someone in happy hour, said, "What's going on here?" We saw this huge pop on CV. It immediately retraced more than 50% of the move. Today, it's actually given back the rest of it and gone lower. We couldn't find any news for this. I was looking on FinTwit yesterday. It looked like there were just a bunch of bots trading this. I believe this was a low float name. No, sorry, it wasn't. I'm confusing it with something else. 45.4 million shares in the float. This to me is a stay away. I don't love the There's no short interest here. I don't love the action, right? I don't love the move higher, the immediate retracement. Now it's given everything back. We'll see if this bounces. You have a range here carved out by that impulse move that happened on volume, but I don't necessarily think that there's anything legitimate, if you will, on this one.
Well, I mean, the only thing that seems legitimate about the company is that the product they have looks really cool, and I'm kind of big into the medical device space right now, going into 2026. And this company produces medical devices, most notably their CapsoVision, which is or CapsoCam, which is basically like about a tablet-sized device that you take orally, and it goes through your entire GI system and takes pictures all the way through. So it's supposed to be an alternative to a more invasive endoscopy. And I thought that was interesting. But like you said, it's not moving on any news. So I don't know what could be driving this, or if we're going to end up seeing any movement out of this after it had that move up to 31.53. We are down here at 10.10, kind of going sideways since about 5 this morning. You would have to see some more in this to even think about taking a trade in this one. I don't know what this is going to do. It's kind of been dead for a good portion of the pre-market. But if you just keep it on your radar, if you're looking for another thing to trade, and if this happens to get that volume, then maybe it starts turning up, recaptures VWAP, and if all that happens, seems to me like 15.25 is the big resistance area.
Okay. Good stuff there. Sorry, I have to throw this in the chat here. Rise Gaming and having a discussion here regarding Netflix. We will go to Netflix here. Izzy was asking me about this yesterday or the day before. We'll definitely cover this. But Cam is saying, Rise Gamer, are you a Rise main? I foresee some League of Legends back and forth chat going on here. I suspect that that's coming up here pretty soon. You can't fade Fizz, by the way. Fizz mid. Anyway, let's keep going here with some of the stocks. I do want to talk about Netflix pretty soon. 13, I don't know if there's any more on the movers list that you want to go over. I know it was a little bit later here. Didn't necessarily prepare like you always do. Pets here, though. PetMed Express. This had a piece of news here. Silver Cape announced a non-binding proposal to acquire 100% of PetMed Express outstanding common stock at $4 a share in cash to take the company private. Now, this is interesting because the stock price is only $240 right now. So if you think that this is actually going private at $4, there's definitely some room here. Furthermore, if you think that there's anything like the Warner Brothers Discovery Skydance saga where there's back and forth bids, there could be even more headroom on this. The chart here, this is what it looks like. We're back above VWAP. Looks like the impulse move took us up close to 350 there. I don't know. Let me know what you think here on pets. Short interest for this name, 10.6%, 7.4 days to cover. Trades on average, 150,000 shares. Got 15 million in the float. Today it's traded 13 million. What do you think?
Well, this is a proposal, so that's probably the only reason why it's not up at $4 or near $4. It's not guaranteed. This is just something that a company approached Pets about and said, "Hey, we want to buy you. You can take cash, and we'll take you private." But that's just what's been proposed. Nothing's been definitive, and I think that's the big deal here. This is just a proposal. It is trading above VWAP right now. We're going to want to see that hold up. I don't know that we're going to get back up to 303. The MACD is kind of indicating that we're starting to lose our momentum here going into the open. Volume seems to be a little bit on the decline. If we start to lose that VWAP, then this is going to be one that I would just say let's just wait for the open and see what we get then. There's no sense in trying to chase this thing into the open. It does look like we could start to lose VWAP soon here if we don't get that volume. So for me, I think I just wait and see what we get closer to the open.
Okay. All right. As far as list, Planet Labs is on this list. We talked about this as one of the stocks in focus. This reported earnings. So
look at where it went. Look at where it went. Oh man, that's perfect. It hit 16, right? Or pretty close to it.
Very close. Did not yet print it, but very, very close.
So this is the 16 is the what I'm looking for the price to hit today. I was mentioning yesterday in the happy hour when the news broke of their earnings, this thing started running up, and it just looks like if you look at a daily chart, 16, that's the next big level we got to get to. We're on the doorstep. Maybe we break out of there, or we get rejected around 1680. That's the high from October 8th. But 16 certainly in the cards. This is a company that we've talked about this before, traded it before. It does imaging from space. Got a lot of clients, including U.S. government, farmers, energy companies. They provide imaging from space, and it helps reveal different conditions in the soil and topography and all kinds of different things that they're able to extrapolate from their camera systems they have on their satellites. But great to see this. One of the better space plays. I think they aren't quite profitable yet, but they're on their way. So their growth in revenue is looking pretty good, but they still aren't profitable yet.
All right, good stuff here with Planet Labs. This actually might give a trade. Just looking at the chart here, you might have a break and go here.
Oh, give us 16 before we open. That'd be so cool.
The other thing I wanted to mention is Nextdoor. This is one of the trades from yesterday. This actually did come back in the after hours, despite just pretty much going sideways for most of the day until the afternoon. We have gone higher here today, so maybe we get a kind of a relative volume play or some type of second day action there. BQ has been a former trader for us before. This popped in the after hours, came back in a little bit. Really is just using the VWAP as resistance here. So until this can get to VWAP, I don't feel all that great about it. I think we've traded this MIGI Mawson Infrastructure, actually Mawson Infrastructure Group. This did spike yesterday midday, went again here in the pre-market. Now, presenting an earnings growth, there were a number of companies presenting at this earnings growth conference. Perhaps that's what it was. Gotta be, I would think. DDD.
So if you're looking for something that's causing it to move today, at the very least, I'd say that it's on relative volume.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if the news drove it at all here. It looks like right here, they presented in the 1 to 140 window. So let's go back to the chart. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Looks like this kind of lines up with whatever was presented there. So that was likely something that came out that drove this.
Yeah, and it spiked. It looks like at that 1 p.m. marker, like that. That's before they started speaking. It spiked up to looks like about 8:40, and then came back down. Went sideways.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I messed up on the date. So the presentation is today. Today's the 11th, right? The presentation is today at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Charles from the Squawker here at Benzinga, all over this. So I'm sorry. There were multiple days laid out in that PR that came out yesterday.
I think you're okay because this is supposed to be day 2 of this event.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in any case, keep this one on your radar. It looks like we're going to have something coming up around the lunch hour. Also worth mentioning here, IRBT, iRobot. This is on the movers list again. This, just like 13 was saying with some of these other plays, relative volume, a little bit of continuation. Can probably just use technicals on a trade like this. Okay, let me go back to the main workspace here because there are 2 stacks that we're going to take a look at. Netflix, and also there was a report here that Disney. Oh, I just clicked the wrong ticker. Good heavens. Crudsicles, as Anne-Marie likes to say. That's my favorite. All right. Disney shares are trading higher after the company announced a 3-year agreement with Sora to bring characters across Disney brands to platform alongside a $1 billion equity investment in OpenAI. Sora is the AI video tool, 13.
Yeah, I know. And they've been, I don't know if you've seen some of those videos that they've been putting out.
So
the diabolical ones?
No, I want you to tell me about that. Here's the only videos that I've seen from Sora. I fully admit this. I can't hide this any longer. Sometimes when at night when I'm watching TV, watching sports games, commercials come on. I'm actively trying to not pay attention to commercials, so I will scroll stuff. And I get funny little Instagram clips, and a lot of the times these are about animals. And because I'm a sucker for animals, I get sucked into these things. And a lot of them are about, like a wild animal gets rescued, blah, 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 blah. But there are some of them that are like an 80-year-old woman on her patio feeding a gigantic grizzly bear apple slices or something crazy like that. And I'm always like, when I initially see it, I'm like, this poor woman's going to get eaten. And then I see up in the corner, it says Sora. And I'm like, this is an AI video. And it's just, what do you do? Come on. So I'm a bit annoyed with some of these AI videos talking about, what are they?
They're not safe for work.
Okay. That's all you needed to say.
Yeah, and it's surprising because they've I think you have to kind of just go and look and see what they are, because they they tend to be crude or racially charged, or have stereotypes into them, and they're basically making these trailers off of those themes, but in the look of a Disney movie. So it's kind of hilarious to me that they announced an agreement, because if anything, it's been, I don't know, maybe not necessarily damaging the Disney brand, but making things very, very questionable for them. So I think this is a hilarious deal. You spend some time going through some of these Sora AI diabolical videos, and you'll see what I mean about, wow, what was Disney thinking bringing this into their fold? We'll see what happens here. I don't necessarily think this is I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but Disney's committing to invest $1 billion into OpenAI. So to me, this is money leaving the company.
Yeah, and okay, Sean here saying Sora videos are wild. People making videos of Stephen Hawking wrestling Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Cage match.
Yeah, and that's mild.
Out of hand.
And that's mild compared to what some of the other stuff they have on there. So
okay,
you folks take your own time and do that research.
I was going to say, I will for sure take your word for that. Now, here's the one thing to note here with some of the price action. The immediate reaction was a pop here, but it did fade all of this back. We're actually under yesterday's intraday high, so maybe 109, 110 here on a possible spot, resistance spot to break here. We'll see on Disney.
I think one last thing I got to say about how hilarious this is, because when you consider like all the different stuff they've been putting out in theaters just this year alone, and how it's just been mostly, if not all, just remakes, sequels, or adaptations. That's all they've been doing. Here you have Sora that has been, they come up with some of the wildest stuff, but I think it takes a lot of the work off of the plate of these writers, which is sad. So I'm very, very skeptical that this is going to, produce anything good for Disney. It might attract a certain type of audience, not necessarily the one that I think that they traditionally are after. But we'll see what happens with this. This is just too hilarious to me to really give a good opinion on it.
Christmas came early for 13. Let's go. Okay, the next stock that we wanted to review prior to the open here is Netflix. Izzy, keep your pants on. We're going to get to it. Here is Netflix. So the other day when I think it was Izzy actually asking me about this, I had mentioned that, you know what, I'm probably not a buyer of this until I figure out what's going on with the Warner Brothers Discovery thing, the back and forth, Paramount, Netflix, Warner Brothers Discovery. And sure enough, that looked to be the right call here, because we are continuing to hunt for a lower level here. Now I have 87.32 as the 500-day moving average. At this point, just kind of looking at this chart, boy, it sure seems to me like this is where it's going to go to. It looks like it's going to try that. It's also worth noting that we have a low here from April 7th. That was the Liberation Day low. That's at about 82. So maybe even if we overshoot this 500-day, 82 would be your next support level here. We'll also have a pretty infographic here for you. So we have been talking a lot about some of the content library here, and our team went ahead and whipped this up for anyone that wants it. Here's a look at major TV and movie franchises across Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery, and they're basically laid out in columns here. So this is basically the content library that you'd be looking at being kind of folded into Netflix here. And it looks like, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, the DC universe, we talked about. The Sopranos is on here. Big Bang Theory is, for some reason, a popular show, or was. Scooby-Doo, can't go wrong with Scooby-Doo. Looney Tunes. So for Warner Brothers Discovery, added to an already pretty good lineup there for Netflix. I don't watch Stranger Things myself, but it seems like you guys all love that. So just thought we'd create this. Pretty sweet. Screen cap that if you want, if it's just kind of easy to take a look at here. But this just kind of ties into this trade idea that we're talking about. Like, where do we buy this? When does it make sense to actually buy this? And I think that's what we're trying to figure out here. So go ahead.
Two things about that list that you had there that I know to be true. I think it bears worth pointing out. That Harry Potter IP that has some licensing deals with Universal because Universal Studios has like their theme parks there. Harry Potter theme parks. So they are still licensing to that. So that's a bit of a stream of revenue for Netflix. I don't think that agreement has changed anything with this acquisition. And then with regard to the Lord of the Rings, that's just for the movies. That's not necessarily rights to the IP itself or the Tolkien estate or anything like that. Because as you know, Netflix is Amazon Prime has been pumping out that terrible Rings of Power show, and that's also Lord of the Rings IP as well. So it's just the movies that they are buying the rights to. Nothing.
But that's the good stuff.
It's the best part of Lord of the Rings that they're buying.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick here, you guys were having some conversations about Netflix levels. I'm just going to roll through them here. First of all, Lion, big fan of dollar cost averaging Netflix because you don't know where the bottom is. And that's true. In order for that to work out, though, you probably need to have a long-term time horizon on it. Lion, I know you have that. I'm just saying for other people that want to do that, they would also need that. Day trader here. For long-term ads, I see 82.84 as a possible pivot with an ominous unfilled gap down to 70.89. Seems weird to type those out, but they're possible per the daily. So here's what he's talking about. The weird gap that he's talking about is right here. And we talked about this one too, I think. This is back to 2024. Here's the weird gap that he's talking about. The other 82.84 pivot, that's basically right at the Liberation Day low or thereabouts. This was also a low from January of earlier this year. So day trader, I got to be honest with you, all of the levels that you've outlined here look spot on to me. Looks like ones that we've talked about recently. Let's see what else here. EKS, Brian, just looking at the chart now, I put in a low ball, good till cancel order at 86.43, but it's really about if Netflix raises their offering, maybe more cash and more shares could see the stock sell off more. That's a good point too, EKS. If they are continuing in this bidding war and they have to offer more and more, that means more and more downside for NFLX. Let's see, what else did I miss here? No Netflix deal, they go higher, much higher. And this is also what we talked about recently. If we hear that this deal is off the table for Netflix, you pretty much just buy it at any level, and then you can sell it higher. It seems like, I should say, it's not financial advice. It seems like that's the thought here.
Yeah. Well, this is being bid on. I do like that 82.50 level. If they win the bid, then this probably will go down towards 70. I think that's looking, because if you look at the high from November of 2021, that is an area that I like for support. It's just around the $70 handle. So $70 would be kind of like, if this deal does go through, that's where I would be looking at this to go. And
got it.
And I know this is way different than what I was saying about Netflix earlier, but this is also before we had this Warner Brothers Discovery potential acquisition. So now with this on the table, I could see this going as low as $70. And this isn't the lowest the RSI has ever been. I mean, we've seen this the Netflix stock RSI down at 10. So we could continue sinking here. Now, one other thing that's important that I think bears worth mentioning is that we had a death cross here earlier this month. And that follows a golden cross that we got all the way back in November of 2022. So we've been riding this 200-day SMA for 3 years. And it might be about the time for this thing to finally cool off in a big way. So I don't think that we're going to see a quick resolution of this death cross and have it turn golden anytime soon. I think it's going to take some time to play out. There's still potentially, and I mean, do in a high manner. Oh, we just opened. In a high manner that there is some more downside coming.
Okay. Synopsis here. Just looking at this out of the open here. Synopsis. This is rolling over to those pre-market lows. Disney looks like that first move was up towards the VWAP. BTT so far, this is holding its VWAP, but it looks like there's going to be a battle there. Got that at 870. So careful there, BTTC.
And Planet Labs, it did pop up to, okay, there it goes. Just as I started talking about it, it ripped. So Planet Labs blasting through 16, looking for 1650. There's some sellers in the way there. Let's see what happens. But 1648 current high, that just ripped right out of the gate there after, gearing up for this move. Anyway.
Okay, here we go on Planet Labs.
Pets, this one also looks like it's trying to get above 260. BTTC, this is pulled underneath 9. Still trying to get some support from the VWAP, but this might, I don't know. This is looking a little weak out of the open here. We might lose VWAP.
Oracle, more lows here on Oracle. Where's Bharat? Bharat, are you on this one today? There's Bharat. Bought the first 1,000 shares of Netflix in long-term account. Okay. Well, which one, 13?
MIGI, that's trying to push through via VWAP right now. Hit it earlier in this in the pre-market after losing it around 835. We're back up here trying to push through it right now. We might get our break, and I don't know where exactly we're going to go. We might be able to draw a trend line off the highs from the pre-market here to give us a little bit of a target to shoot for. But it's starting to push. It's trying to push over VWAP right now. And if this goes on a run, if this goes on a run here, then according to this trend line, we might see 13, what is 13, almost 14 or $14. We'll see. There's no guarantee it gets up there, but that's just something we're shooting for based on the trend line.
Okay.
And then let's see, Axel, this is dropping beneath the 65 EMA, getting some support around 780. We'll see if this can reverse. Planet Labs, after hitting 1653, this came right back underneath VWAP, and now it is getting support from its 65 EMA. So it looks like it's just kind of shaking out weak hands, and then we're going.
Okay.
It looks like BTTC is about to halt to the downside.
Yikes.
So a lot of weakness out of the gate here, but MIGI, there we go. That just took off there. Looking for there might be some resistance around 1030 to 1050, but if we get through that and 11, then we're searching for that 13 to 14 print.
Okay, Oracle still dropping out of the gate here. I got to think, is anyone looking to trade Oracle? Do you have any levels here on Oracle? 186. I know we talked about the long-term one more like 160, 170. I'm just wondering for a short-term trade here if anyone's got one on that. Be curious.
Oh, that was a good drop. So maybe we fill this gap. We fill the gap from June 11th to 12th to the downside. That would fill at about just under 180.
Okay. Nice, boy. This is a nice 2-point bounce already here on Oracle off of those lows. Lion here saying maybe wait out the first 15 minutes. Let the market settle. It makes a lot of sense. Beat please 13 Orion. I think you meant Orion, but that's funny because Orion is a great constellation. We'll go ahead and pull that up here. BEAT. This was from yesterday, by the way. Mm-hmm. Tara, that was an autocorrect. I've seen that a billion times. Here's Beat 13. One more thing I wanted to mention yesterday. Obviously, we were off air. We didn't actually talk about this, but I didn't mean to do that. I actually meant to just extend it. If you extended your trend line, it went right to it again. Yeah. That's just unbelievable. All right, 13. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll BRB.
Okay, so this is the one that had the 510K FDA clearance yesterday. 29 million shares in the float, needs cash. That's from my notes. When we were trading this yesterday. Still think that the levels that I provided then are going to probably be about the same, 180. That's the current resistance that I see that we need to get above. Currently trading above the 200-day SMA. Let me look at a smaller time frame here to see what we're getting with the price action. So we had a nice move out of the gate, took it up through VWAP. 167 is the current high. And if we look to the left here, this is about where a lot of the high from yesterday was. It did run up all the way to 179, so just shy of that 180 area. We're pushing up there right now. There's still a big seller in the way at 180. Maybe we see 180 again here. Beyond that, beyond 180, $2 would be the next price target I would have for resistance, and that's just a little bit above the 500-day SMA. Pet's nice. Oh yeah. Okay, it's making its way towards 303. That was the pre-market high, or above VWAP. Volume could be better. I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of volume we're getting. I mean, we do get a good volume spike here that takes us up to 3, but the volume is looking a little bit concerning in PETS.
Okay. Oracle continuing its bounce. This is now back to VWAP.
SMX, yeah, that thing I saw that was on the movers list. That thing's back. Just be careful with it if you're going to trade it. I think there's a much more elevated level of risk in that one if you're trying to trade it. So just be careful if you are.
Do you folks think that this Oracle bounce marks the bottom, or is this just kind of back testing that pre-market area? Oracle looks like it's kind of stopping here, VWAP-ish level.
I don't know if I would say that this is the bottom. I outlined that gap fill to the downside that would take it down to about 180. I would think that the bottom is probably going to occur somewhere in the 170s.
Okay. I mean, I think we had 160 to 170 as our conservative investment load spot there. Okay.
Looks like we're getting some weakness across all these movers. Maybe not beat right now. That's still trying to push higher. They do have that seller in their way at 180. So we'll see if that can, all these buyers can take out those sellers. But aside from that, we're looking kind of weak on Planet Labs. AXIII might be turning around. CV still trying to recapture its VWAP.
Next door continuing from yesterday's session. This above the pre-market highs.
And what was that ticker? NXDR.
NXDR, yeah, sorry.
All right, so let's see here. What do we have a trend line? Maybe. I'm looking at the after hours high and the pre-market high, and if I draw a trend line, we almost went right to that. Actually, we're almost there, and we just hit it. How about that? So yeah, all you got to do just it's the after hours high and the pre-market high, yeah, and then we just went right through that level. Now there is a seller in the way at 349, 350 area, so we're going to need to see some more volume to get through that seller. Looks like Planet Labs just whipped right back above 16. BTTC unhalted and reversed, and looks like it recaptured VWAP, then halted again.
Chewy from yesterday. What a disappointment this was. Maybe today is the day here. Chewy back above the trend line. This actually at highs of the day. This thing really plummeted in the 37.5-ish level yesterday, right when we opened. So Chewy might be going right back to that level there. Synopsis really can't bounce yet. That first move was lower.
Looks like Chewy is coming to the defense of the 50-day SMA. So we did slightly close above it yesterday, and now it seems like we opened beneath it and have recaptured it. So if we hold above this would mark day 2 of a close above the 50-day SMA, and that would and we would want to see this hold above 35, because that was kind of the top end of the sideways consolidation we were getting since late October, and we just moved out of that on earnings. I think we would want to see the price hold above 35 if we're looking for more upside.
Chewy agrees with your analysis on Chewy, so that'll work.
All right. Pets still pushing higher. 280 looks like that's the current high. Still making its way up towards.
That is pushing up here.
303. Planet Labs trying to take out the session high. That's 1653. Currently at 1635. Beat. This is, hey, look at that. Went right up to 180. Right up to 180, kind of backing off a little bit, but still hanging out up here. So as long as this volume holds up, we might see some higher prints. Beyond $182 is the next target.
Should I extend the trend line? Might as well, right?
Might as well.
Hit it yesterday. That gives us a new target here, 213 on Beat. Line up 30% on the Chewy calls after this push up here. There we go. No, you got the 35s, I think. I can't remember what your position was from yesterday, Lion. You'll have to remind me. I'm pretty sure it was the 35 calls, though.
AXIL, still a slow mover, but still hasn't broken down yet. It does need to recapture the 65 EMA because that's what was providing support earlier in the pre-market. If it can't do that, I think it's going to lose VWAP. Okay.
Okay. Kathy mentioning HL, ASM, NEM, GDX, and KJC, all mining stocks, all doing well. Kathy, do you think that's on the back of the Fed rate cut? I had a story here this morning about gold, kind of being gold likely outperform as they continue to do quantitative easing.
Are they all gold miners? Because I think it's more of a play on inflation.
Yeah, that's the general thing there. It doesn't necessarily the article mentioned gold earlier, but you're right. And I think these are more than just gold mining.
Okay.
They're all mining in general.
Okay. I it's looking like a lot of these are trying to push into new session highs, but they're facing some resistance or low volume. NXDR, it did go up to the trend line. We haven't closed above that trend line yet. We have printed above it. Beat trying to clear 180 on the way up to the $2 handle. MIGI, this lost VWAP, trying to recapture that. Planet Labs trying to hold above 16. And
Oracle continuing its bounce there. 186 looked to be the low there. Actually didn't get filled on that, unfortunately. Oracle's still going here, though. Down 14%. We'll see if that does roll over and gives us a move to the downside.
TGL started spiking. Treasure Global. I don't know if there's any news. It's probably just a pump and dump or whatever. But it had a move out of the gate here. Started at 9 and it went all the way up to 1144. That's the current high.
12 was a level that was resistance yesterday. It looks like it's going straight to it here today.
There that goes.
How's NVIDIA doing here today?
Okay, so beat went up to 183, but that's starting to back off now. Lots of it looks like the seller reloaded at 180, trying to keep this down. Right.
NASDAQ, the weakest of the three indices here. I guess that's no surprise in the back of the Oracle earnings last night, but NVIDIA here pounding the lows out of the open. This move down.
Nice job, Izzy.
Apple also at the lows. That's just a waterfall out of the open here.
And waiting to see if RGTZ is going to push higher into 20. This thing had some pretty wild price action earlier last week, taking a big old move down. Now it's been recovering. We'll see how high this goes.
Frank here. Every central bank in the world is still buying gold to hedge fiat currencies. Silver worldwide shortage driving its moves. Thank you, Frank. Good to see you again, Frank.
Fantastic. I love this moving silver.
Kathy, I'm sorry I missed this here. I think the inflation trend / the Fed action confirms recommendations of having 30% of the portfolio in gold and precious metals mining stocks. That's the Gunlock approach, isn't it? Doesn't he? Is it? I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure he was or is at 30%. Banks all strong, as well as the KRE and the IWM.
MIGI is about to halt after making a pretty well. Okay, it was going to halt, but they took that off. Trying to get through 1035 here. That seems to be the resistance this morning, and it looked like it was about to halt going up into that price. We're just waiting for BTTC to unhalt. Pets trying to hold above its VWAP. It's currently trading beneath it. Same thing with Planet Labs, except it's still above its VWAP. And there goes MIGI losing that momentum to the upside. Beat 184 current high, still trying to climb its way up to 2.
And yeah, you guys that are talking about financials here. You'd mentioned here tech and energy sectors are the only ones that are down right now. Energy not great here. Financials actually in the green. That was mentioned earlier. Go back to my main workspace here real quick. Got a lot of them now.
190 and beat, almost at $2, 10 cents away.
Well, that was straight up out of the gate.
Planet Labs looks like it's trying to gear up for a move up through 1650. We'll see if it gets the volume for that. There's a large seller in the way at that price.
Marcus mentioning Boeing, ticker BA.
Okay.
That's actually having a nice move out of the open here on Boeing. What's up?
I have I would like to get this company, but I still have a sense that this is going to end up trading lower. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the price action, but maybe even starting now, this is probably going to end up being a really good stock over the next 2 years. Remember that F-47 that was announced, that new Sierra Superiority fighter? They've started building those, and they're going to be ramping up large-scale production of those next year. And their first flight is going to be in 2028. So I think that's going to be a massive tailwind for Boeing going forward over the next couple of years. I think that's going to help with their earnings growth substantially.
Okay. All right, a couple of stocks that are going to report earnings here today. Lululemon, ticker LUL, open here. We're right at yesterday's intraday highs, just shy of 190. Remember, on the daily chart, we're actually in a gap fill up towards 200. So let me know if anyone's playing Lululemon for earnings here tonight. The other one that's on the list here is going to be Broadcom, ticker AVGO. They also report earnings after the close here today. Broadcom moving with the rest of tech down 3% here. By the way, NASDAQ at the lows down 1% and looking to go lower here. Dow, on the other hand, plus 7%. So you're seeing a pretty big divergence there. Industrial stocks, Dow stocks trading up to the high.
AXIL trying to recapture that 65 EMA. It's moving through it right now, but on low volume. So if this volume starts to expand, we might get our move. Okay, well, now it's starting to pick up a little bit more. Selling away at 9. Meanwhile, we have Planet Labs still trying to hold above VWAP. MIGI lost its VWAP. Beat is coming off of the 190 high that it just put in. And next door just blasted through the trend line. It's moving next door.
Okay, TGL halted to the upside here.
367 current high in next door.
Candelier here. Hi, I purchased Benzinga Pro membership, but I don't know how to use it. Can anyone help? Yes, you should start by clicking on the welcome page of your Benzinga Pro subscription and start with either the guidebook here or the pro course that teaches you the basics of how to use that. That's where I would start with that. Welcome to the family.
Yes. Well, hello there and welcome. Looks like BTTC is open and ripping higher.
Now TGL, by the way, that halted at 946.20. So we're looking at what, 951.20 for the possible first resumption. Adobe, this actually trying to move higher here after its earnings.
Good stuff. Just
next door through the trend line.
Yeah, next door is looking pretty good. Coming up to it, it's at a seller right now at what, 362, trying to shoot his shares there. Beat coming back down or getting walked down rather from 190, trying to get some support here around 175.
The pro course with cute little tests is great. Haven't been able to finish it per interruptions. It's great though. One more thing about the pro course. We are actually looking to do a update that's going to change the way the details page looks. It's going to look a little bit more modular and allow you to customize it a little bit more. When that happens, because the details page is used so much in so many of these different combinations, I'm actually going to reshoot that pro course. So it's still usable. Things on the course might look a little bit different, but expect a refresh probably early next year.
BTTC is trading above the V-up right now, but just be careful with this one. This thing can move pretty wildly, and it is already halted twice. So this is could be a halt fest on a big move up or down. Just be careful with BTTC. It looks like AXIL couldn't handle it, lost VWAP. That's headed towards the 200 EMA. Pets.
It just couldn't handle the truth.
It couldn't handle it. Nope. So pets here, this is making a new regular session high. Sellers in the way at 285, 94, 295 appears to be the next area where the sellers are. Also at 3, but it's still trying to make its way up there. We'll see if it can get to 3. Planet Labs. I'd like to think that this is gearing up for a launch off of the VWAP. Not sure if we're getting that. Volume seems to be decreasing every 5 minutes at a pretty steady pace. So if we get that support from VWAP, hopefully we see that volume pour back in. MIGI, that just this is trying to recapture the VWAP. I'm kind of wanting to sit on my hands for some of these. It just the moves don't seem like they've got a lot of staying power. Beat's doing okay.
TGL resumed.
Oh, perfect.
Just at the time that we had said, TGL resumed. It looks like it's pulling back.
Yeah.
Capso Vision does not look like it's Chinese. It actually looks like it's headquartered in Saratoga, California. A lot of the overcrowded names are weak. I guess that's not. Doesn't that, Jay, does that tell you that there's more rotation afoot?
Yeah,
you'll have to let me know on that. What's up? Sorry.
I think that's what you're going to see a lot of.
I think there's more of that to go.
Oh,
to this point. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if he thinks it's the same thing. Tesla at the lows there. It looks like 443.
All right, Pets still sniffing out $3. Got as high as 292. All right, Planet Labs might actually make this move off the VWAP here. Just need to see some expanding volume. Take us up over 1650.
Music is asking CCL a buy. So asking if Carnival Cruise Lines is a buy here. To be honest with you, I don't love the boats, but I actually think what would be better is VIK. I think Jay Rice was floating this earlier this week. I think I like VIK a little bit more. I think that just the way, first of all, VIK is Viking. They do the river cruises. The boats don't allow kids. They don't have casinos on them. It's more of like a luxury cruise here. It seems to me that the wealthy consumer, we've heard a lot about this, the wealthy consumer is still spending and not really affected by any of this. I think that Viking is probably the better play, but take it with a grain of salt because I don't have a position in either of these. Izzy saying Ondas buy yet, Ryan, today? I don't trade Ondas back and forth. So no, and I haven't been. As far as Ondas goes, I really want that to close above 842 here today. Let me make sure that's the same level here. Sorry.
3150 for CCL. So I'm looking, back at some history of this price action. In June of 2021, we got up to 3550. Hadn't seen that price until just recently in August. So it's looking like this is trying to go higher. But that 3150 area is the big resistance level in question if we do start recapturing the 50-day SMA and trading up. I think that's where 3150 to $32. That's the range I think is where you're going to find a lot of resistance. But if we get through that, then I'd say let's see here. Wow. Okay, so that's even some more resistance back before COVID. Yeah, that 3150 to 32 area. That's going to be a pretty tough area, I think.
Yeah. And just remember, we cannot tell you if something is a good buy or where to buy it. We can look at the chart and tell you what the chart looks like or what I might think of these two. And I kind of think VIK is better than CCL, but can't tell you where to buy or if you should buy.
And then, after that 3150, 32 area, if the price still manages to climb, $40 is the next resistance I see. Yeah. That's big.
Izzy mentioning that Ondas had an upgrade today. Not to be a stickler, but I comment on this at all the times. Ondas did not receive an upgrade today. Needham reiterated its buy rating, so that was an existing rating. However, they did raise the price target to 12. This is not the first $12 price target it has either. I think there was another one here that had it at $12 too. Lake Street had it at 10. Let me go to the calendar here. But it was Needham. They did raise their price target, but they kept the same rating.
Pets on the doorstep of 3. So it looks like we're gonna get that.
And sorry, really quickly, H.C. Wainwright and Oppenheimer also have $12 targets. I thought so. I'm sorry. Which one were you looking at? 13? I got it.
I'm just going through all these names. Some of them are hitting their levels that we were looking at. The Pets at $3 right now, trying to chew through that seller at 3. You have MIGI about to make some new session highs, trying to get up to the 11 handle where we hit the high in the pre-market. Beat, still looking for 2, got as high as 197, hasn't fallen down too far, could still hit $2. And then next door, after hitting 371, we have given up a good portion of the moves this morning in the regular session. BTTC now halted again to the downside, losing VWAP in the process. Again, be very careful with this one. This is a halt fest.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Good morning, Wisdom. Good morning. And the market is pulling here. I don't agree that it's crashing, but it is absolutely pulling here. NASDAQ actually the weakest, down 1.4%, SPY down 0.73%, and the Dow still holding on to green, up 0.34%.
Let me take a look here, because this is okay. So I guess we didn't get the open I was looking for, because I thought with the bullishness of the candle we had yesterday that we'd probably end up opening higher on the SPY. That didn't happen, but the selling that we're seeing, this is what we were expecting. So this did happen. Yeah. I just thought we were going to see a higher open and then sell off, not open kind of in the middle of the candle and sell off. But either way, the sell off is what we were anticipating. Let's let this shake out, and I think we'll get some support. Probably in not too far from now, but
yeah. One of the things that we were looking at was maybe the 682 area that represents kind of your overnight lows. I know the actual overnight lows, which are not pictured here on the chart, they actually went a little bit lower. It looks like 680-ish, but yep. I would say 680 to 682, probably a possible bounce spot. SPY down here, 682.5 as we speak.
I like 680.
Okay.
There's $2 in beat. Thank you very much.
Beat that, 13.
There's 305 in pets. 2 targets hit. I don't know what Planet Labs is going to do, but it has a high of 1666. Looks like we did get that launch off the VWAP because it put in a new high. Where it goes from here, maybe 1678. That would be at the all-time highs, and then we got blue sky territory above that. So maybe we see some nice movement from Planet Labs today if we can get over that all-time high.
Bharat, good deal on the shorts here today. Definitely riding the momentum here. The tech names to the lows. Yeah. Bharat had shorted Google and Hood here today. I remember seeing the short Hood comment in the chat here. Hood pounding lows here, Bharat. Nice move here on that. Here's Google.
And I'm on RGTZ. Because Rigetti is getting hammered.
You're in it already?
RGTZ, yes.
Awesome. That actually pulled back to the VWAP, it looks like, and then really kind of ran. That VWAP down there, 1990.
Pets pushing higher, 317 now the new session high. Planet Labs still trying to go higher, but getting some weakness. We don't want to see this lose VWAP, because if it does, then under 16. And then here we go with beat. This is pushing higher as well. Did it hit the trend line? I didn't extend mine. I think it already blew past it. But you tell me if it.
Nope, not yet. I have that trend line value again, 214.
So we're almost there.
We are almost there.
It's got a big seller in the way at 210, and then I think 215's in the cards.
Rich Tech Robotics, this is pulling back a little bit. Remember, this moved on the robot headline. We got a political headline, and we got another robot headline here. Serve was the other one, SERV. Let's see how that's doing. That looks like that's also rolling over here. Obviously, Tesla, that's still at the lows.
Pete had brought up a something, and we'll also look at VELO. But Pete had brought a healthcare vote. I'm trying to see where that was. I just noticed it as a big healthcare movement. Votes coming today. Could you elaborate on that? I could look it up myself and figure that out. But if you could point me in the direction so I could do that, that'd be helpful. I just want to know what that's about because Brian, yesterday we were talking about ClearSecure, and now I'm kind of on this whole thing about what's this what's this contract that they've got, because it could be big. And
the Senate is voting on proposals for the Affordable Care Act today.
Okay. Yeah. So
I know you asked Pete to expand on that, but I believe what he's referring to.
That's perfect. Thank you. But yeah, so ticker YOU, this company earlier this week received a contract with CMS. That's the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to provide identity verification and modernize CMS with their Secure One platform. Now, the size of the contract hasn't been disclosed, which is, I think, the only reason why this hasn't, ripped. So when we get news of that, I think this could go on a massive run because the short interest is also pretty high. And I think this could represent a very big contract. And it's also within our identity verification theme.
Yeah, a couple of other things that we were looking at when it comes to ticker U, and let me put that on the screen here. I flipped through CNC, which is the one Pete is long, as well as UNH, which I think a bunch of the other group members have been trading here. Here's what the U 5-minute chart looks like. Now, when we were looking at this yesterday, we did take a look at the option chain here. We did notice that there was something funky going on in the May contract, the May expiry. There's 1,100 contracts held in the open interest at 50. Now, that contract is spread 25 by 105, so it's not great for trading here. It is also worth noting that the February contract, the 38 call, has 5,300 in open interest. So it sure looks to me like there is some upside positioning here in you. Now, that February contract for you, those 38 calls, that's 95 by 185. So those are also spread pretty crazy. But I'm you have me thinking more about this 13, and I'm thinking that, maybe an option trade into early next year, middle of next year is palatable here. Let me see if I can stink bid this May 50 call real quick. Let me see if I can do that.
Hit the trend line. It beat it.
I was just thinking of how can I incorporate a Michael Jackson joke into this.
Yeah, it went full on this trend line.
There you go, 13. Oh, 13, dude.
Qs, how low can you go? I haven't looked at the Qs today. Let's see how low it is going. Down to around 618, slightly underneath it.
Okay.
It's trying to rebound. Sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to bid that May 50 call for ticker YOU. I bid 50 cents. The bid was 25 cents. I just doubled it. As soon as I did that, the market maker walked the ask down to 95 cents. So I don't know that you're necessarily, you might be able to kind of get filled at the midpoint if you're playing around with that. I pulled the order off, though. I was just hoping to get kind of a stink bid fill there, but it didn't happen. I'll let you know if I try it on the February contract.
I like 613 on the Qs. This was a resistance area from October. It hit it twice and then finally broke out at the end, toward the end of October. We've kind of been oscillating back and forth, but it also is now lining up with the 50-day SMA. So I think that if we do end up coming back in here, 613 is a level I'd be keeping an eye on for support. All right. All
right. I also tried bidding the 38 call for February. I bid 125. The ask's 185. Again, no fill there. That was 30 cents above the existing bid. So these option chains look very, very light right now. Again, probably can get filled at the midpoint, but I'm trying to get like a real nice fill on kind of a lower price here, and they're just not hitting.
We've got new all-time highs in Planet Labs. It's looking for 17. There's a seller in the way at 17. Maybe he gets taken out too, but we are at 1697. That's a new all-time high for Planet Labs. Let's go.
The space watch list, getting it done.
Yeah, let me look at that watch list today.
Rocket Labs higher by 2+%. How's ASTS doing today? I guess I could check that myself here. ASTS actually down. Stink bid means a bid. Maybe I should talk about it. So when you're spread like crazy, you could do this on a stock too, but it's more prevalent in the option market there. When the spread is so huge like that, I try bidding above the actual bid price, but really at the low end of the range. And I'm hoping that there's just somebody in there that's trying to get out, and that little increase causes them to fill me at a consider under fair value. That's what I mean by stink bid. It's an intentionally low bid that if I get filled, great. I feel like I got a discount. But if I don't get filled, it's like, okay, kind of get it. Lion, take care of yourself. Have a great one.
Take care, Lion. I think we got a mention about, Eric was mentioning PLAB, PLAB. This is Photronics. Had a little bit more upside movement today, but this thing is very extended. It's got an 88 RSI, almost 89 RSI.
I'm sorry, which one is this?
PLAB.
Plaid.
This is one of the ones during happy hour that I was pointing out. This might have some interesting news. This is a kind of an important name in the semiconductor space. But this is looking a little extended up here. I wouldn't be a buyer at this price. I think that we're going to see some regression a little bit. It's very, very extended away from its moving averages. I think, let's see here, we got about 60% away from its 20-day SMA. I think it's got a little extended, has to come back in. So I would expect this to, at the very least, come into about 35, maybe 34 before it finds some support.
Eric, he meant Planet Lab. He didn't even mean Plab.
Oh.
But nonetheless, it was a good discussion. This is above yesterday's intraday highs. Good
you know
job.
what? Planet Labs is awesome too, because that is making new all-time highs. We're over 1720 is the new high. Let's go.
I loved hearing how excited 13 is. Ford making a move higher here. That's ticker F.
MIGI, this is looking for 1050, seller in the way there, trying to push through this resistance it's been facing all of the regular session. 1050 is the big resistance area right now. And next door, this is losing VWAP and coming back in. We might see this come right back down to 3.
No, we kind of said that this is just continuation and relative volume from yesterday. So technicals are at play here. And it did hit that trend line and come back in. Bharat mentioning app being extremely strong. I'm surprised Lion left if app was super strong. I'll tell you what, this was probably one of the best short report trades that we've taken in the last calendar year. This app short report that you guys traded the leaps on this one, that was so good. God, that was so good. This continues to be strong here again today. Frozen King mentioning that there was a turnaround in iRobot. Wasn't that one that was higher? That was one of the robot stocks that was higher. Yeah, so this did sell off and bounce pretty good. You're right about that.
Good support area for MIGI. I mean, it's been getting support from the VWAP. There's only about 10 minutes where it was trading beneath it, but it's in sideways consolidation. It's looking like it gets pretty weak up towards 1030, and it gets a little bit stronger around 9:45. But I'd be concerned about a VWAP loss. If we do end up losing VWAP, the next area of support is going to be down in this demand zone that was established in the pre-market, and that's going to be from about 820 to 890, I guess we'll say. And then beneath that, you have the 65 EMA, which is coming up to the low end of that range I just mentioned.
Okay. I'm still watching RGTZ here. This is pulling back towards the VWAP. Let me ask you, 13, do you think that the VWAP is an all right place to add an RGTZ? And while you're looking at that, Marcus here mentioning Palantir. If there were serious sellers here in Palantir, it probably would have lost 180. Look at the bounce, 3-point bounce, just shy of 180 right there.
For RGTZ, I'm a little concerned about the way the momentum's kind of keeling over right now. The VWAP, if there is going to be a balance, that might be a good spot for it. So you need to see some volume start to increase here. But the way that the momentum is looking with this, it could end up still continuing lower. I think I would put maybe 2015 as a better area of support. And even then, I'm not sure that that's going to hold up. It's just, you got to watch RGTI.
Okay. Yeah. Eric's, Ryan, do you have the Zoom meeting link for this? Currently streaming from X. So there is no Zoom at all in this morning show. We stream to X, we stream to YouTube, and we stream to Twitch. I would say if I had to pick one of those as being the main channel that we stream, I would imagine it's YouTube. You probably get the most amount of comments joining the YouTube stream. Producer might be able to throw the exact YouTube stream in the chat here, but basically you can just go to www.youtube.com/@Benzinga, and it will be as one of the live tiles on there. And it'll be like that every day. The URL for the show changes every day.
All of a sudden you get this spike in volume in MIGI that took it up to 1074 or 1072, and then it came right back down. This is a tough one. I don't know if the VWAP's going to provide good support or not. But maybe this move right now takes it up, back into the teens. I just don't know. This thing needs some better volume.
Izzy mentioning Coke is the short of the day. Was that better than that Hood short? No, Coke's down 1.4% here. This is straight down out of the open. You're not wrong. And it did actually represent a pretty decent short here. Let's see if this went to this is actually pulling back to the 200 EMA on the daily. That's at 69-ish, 68.93. But man, that Hood short that Barat took, that was probably the short of the day, I guess, unless you were short Oracle through the print. Look at Hood's move down here. Pretty much rejected by that trend line. This is down 6.5%, 6.25%.
Looks like the market didn't like the new CEO news for Coke. That seems to be.
Oh, who was that? You know what? Shame on me for not even knowing that. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, Coca-Cola hands CEO role to 30-year veteran Henrique Braun as James Quincy steps aside.
Henrique Braun. I'm not familiar with him. Let's see if it talks. Here's the guy.
Planet Labs is just an absolute awesome stock today. It's approaching 1750 now. Meanwhile, MIGI, this is just whipping all around here. Still above VWAP, but it is just whipping all over the place. And it's not something I would want to trade. It has these sudden moments of liquidity, and then it just goes right away.
So Braun was the executive vice president and COO since January of this year. So he should be fairly well equipped to handle this role here. But you're right. Market does not seem to be liking that. You're absolutely right about that.
RGTZ lost VWAP. It's come down to that other area of support that I liked better, and even still, it's I need to see some more volume in this. The momentum's still swinging to the downside. So until that starts to change, I think I'd be careful with RGTZ. I need to see some support to kick in.
Now, what's interesting about this is that RGTI basically bounced off the lows and is at the VWAP right now. So part of me wonders if this, what I might do? I actually might try just kind of a little bit of this, just trying to be aggressive and stop beneath 20.
Okay.
Because here. Let me put RGTI on this. So I'm thinking just for a trade here, real quick. If RGTI sits trying to recapture its VWAP right now, I'm thinking if it just kind of rolls over here. Now the market's bouncing with it too, though, so I don't necessarily have that tailwind.
And then
RGTI just went to 1998, so I'm glad I didn't. I would have been stopped right away. 13. Let me change the track there from a BRB.
Sure. So G-Man mentioning Rocket Lab. This thing, I love the way this is going. This just tapped 60 and backed off. Let me put this up on my broker screen here. I was buying this in November. I'm really happy with the way that this movement's playing out. And I have SpaceX to thank, because I think that the reason a lot of these space plays are going up is because of the IPO talk for SpaceX and the valuations associated with that. So being that Rocket Lab is going to, kind of already is a bit of a competitor to SpaceX, but not nearly enough to really concern SpaceX about losing revenue to this company. But when they have their Neutron rocket come out, then they'll be competing with SpaceX Falcon 9, and they'll be much more of a formidable opponent or competitor.
Tara, okay, you guys have a great day. We will. You as well. I'm at
Take care.
87% for the day, so I'm okay. Yeah, I would imagine that you're okay.
Yeah,
Good
okay, is an
stuff.
understatement.
Yeah, way to go. Way to go, Tara.
Yeah, and now I'm glad that you're having a nice rest of your day. Don't give that any of that back.
Yeah.
And you take care of yourself. Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, Tara, I'm never sure if I'm getting it right, but she doesn't seem to correct me, so I'm offending anybody, which is awesome. RGTI continuing its bounce. Thank you, 13, for talking me out of that one. You saved me some money. Daniel, take care of yourself.
Yeah, it just, I was just looking at the momentum for RGTZ, and it just didn't look like it was going to hold up. Let's look and see what it's doing right now. Oh yeah, so this thing, wow, that was a really big move. So this is down to the 65 EMA. And a bit of a demand area. If you look at the price action from the after hours and the pre-market here, this is a lot of sideways price action into the zone that we just fell into. Maybe this starts to turn around now, since this went down to a demand zone.
Are you talking about RGTZ?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually looking like it's trying to bounce here a little bit.
Yeah, so I would just keep an eye on the volume, see if we actually are able to recapture some of the levels that I previously was mentioning, and if we do get back above 20, then we'll be looking towards VWAP. But right now, it's still indicating that the momentum is swung to the downside. So we need to see that change first. Planet Labs, though, this has been awesome today, and I think it might finally be reaching a temporary top. 1753 is a current high, and we have one reversal-looking candle followed by this current candle, which also looks like it's trying to reverse. So I don't know if you've got a position in Planet Labs and you're doing well, and I don't think it'd hurt to raise your stop.
Okay, here's Oracle. That bounce continued. So boy, that 186 low, that was pretty good for Oracle.
CV on no news is still rising. It's not moved a whole bunch today, but out of the open, it's up at least $2. Make of that what you will.
Oracle continuing to bounce here. The market actually looks like it might be continuing to bounce as well. That NASDAQ bounce, pretty strong. Would love to see that get back. NQ here, would love to see that get back to 25.7.
And we also have the jobless claims today. I wonder if that had anything to do with some of the price action this morning, because we cut this rate and it was, more pointed to the labor market as the reason for cutting. So when I see these, jobless claims and other labor reports come out, it's kind of always a question in the back of my mind. Did the Fed get it right? Is the market going to react to them being wrong? Maybe Santa Rally is about to start today.
No.
Ryan, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, the Santa Rally does not start before Christmas. The Santa Rally is the period between Christmas and New Year's and several days into the new year. So if we have a rally today, that'd be fine, but that's not a Santa Rally.
Looks like some of these names that we're selling off are starting to turn around. Pets just put in a new session high, 325. That broke through the resistance it was getting from the pre-market high. What else is looking good here? That's pretty much one of the only ones looking good. It looks like Rocket Lab is still. And G-Man, I think you said that it looks like there was some positions being taken at 60 or some orders out for 60. Looks like it's trying to go to 60 again.
Boy, that bounce in the quantum, not local to RGTI, QBTS also bouncing here.
Yeah, but we're still in that demand zone for RGTZ.
Yeah.
So until we fall out of that, it's still looking like we might get support there. Yeah, pets still looking pretty good. It's making new highs. It looks like Planet Labs wants to as well, but the volume kind of has faded in this one. Big reversal. Now, is Oracle participating in this reversal as well? Kind of. It's a big gap to fill to the upside. I don't think we'll get back up there. Could, but I don't know if we will. At the very least, I think we maybe run up to 200, and that might be some of the where the supply is. Rocket Lab on 60. All right. SPY will revisit 682.5. This is Joe. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with 680. Now, when does that happen? AXIII still trying to reverse off the 200 EMA. CV might be running into some resistance. PETS continuing to push higher. New session high again, 346. Planet Labs hasn't broken down, but hasn't pushed higher yet either. MIGI, this is, and this just fell. So, yeah.
PETS is actually through that pre-market high.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been through that. MIGI, I mean, if this continues to come in, which I'm thinking it might, there's support down around, I think I mentioned earlier, the it's like 830 to 890. We're kind of approaching that area. We'll see if it provides support. Looks like Beat got some support from its VWAP, trying to get its footing to turn around and push higher. Volume needs to be better, though. And Rocket Lab, I think we're about to get that launch. Let's get that launch through 60. Looks like PETS is backing off the 346 high.
BTTC really no strength here today. After it lost that VWAP, just hasn't had any of it. Beat actually might be kind of consolidating above the VWAP for maybe a move to the trend line again.
The bottom wicks on BTTC could be indicative of a reversal here. And if you look to the left where this it's putting in these wicks in the pre-market here, this was an area that was facing resistance, then we broke through it. So this could be a support area for BTTC that turns this around. I think I'd still keep an eye on this. And Planet Labs says, well, I like new highs. Let's go after them. And it's trying to make its way up towards that 1753 high it just put in not that long ago.
Pete says CNC is up over 5.5%. Someone knows something or is setting up a trap in healthcare. You know what that means, Pete.
It's a trap.
Anytime you're going to talk about a trap possibly being set or sprung, Admiral Akbar will make an appearance on the stream. SPY continuing to push to the highs. Looks like bounce strong here. I know we pulled out of the open, but boy, oh boy, that bounce is strong. And Oracle continuing to push higher here. Boy, that was a really good dip buy down there in the 186s. Almost 10 points already.
New high, Rocket Lab, 60 and 46 cents. Doesn't look like it's finished either. Beat still getting some support. Planet Labs just put in a new session high.
Joe says Planet Labs is doing a Lebowski. I would say this is our concern, dude. Stocks up 35% here with almost no pullbacks out of the open. We're actually getting a little extended here from the VWAP is more than $1 away from where our current price is. I would imagine, first of all, this is a great move to sell into if you were already in Planet Labs. But as far as a new trade here in this name, RGTZ moving lower as the tech ticks to the highs here. Apple's actually bouncing all right. Where's Tenzin at? Is he trading that bounce? I now love Planet Labs. Well, that was easy. that was easy. I tell you what, when you trade some of these stocks and you're able to make money off of them, it's very easy to like them. It turns out.
Yeah, and you know this. I don't know how well this is going to go beyond today. I mean, we're just getting the movement off the earnings. Just keep in mind, this company doesn't make money yet, but their revenue growth and their margins are pretty dang good. So just keep that in mind as we go forward with this. If you're looking to make a decision on whether or not to hold this or not, keep the headwinds in mind.
Tenzin, he is here. Let me ask you, Tenzin, this move off the lows and kind of this consolidation right here, and this is above VWAP, isn't it? 276? Indeed it is. Is this setting for maybe another move higher? I mean, even if this goes 3 points on a move back to where it opened at, is that possible, Tenzin? It looks, God, it didn't answer fast enough. It looks like it's trying to go as we speak. Got Motion says, can I please get a breakdown on BYND? I don't think you need us. It's going to break down on its own.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. It looks like this is, it had a nice move through the 20-day SMA, and it's been holding above it. The next thing, bulls will probably want to see is a recapture of the 50-day SMA and the 150 price. That looks like that's what's coming next to me. If you get that, you can look forward towards 2. But I think first things first, you need to get back above that 50-day SMA, and the consolidation and the closes above the 20-day SMA look like that's going to help get that lift. But remember, this is just one of those companies where we don't have a whole lot of faith in it. It didn't do well the last time it tried to sell its products. I'm not really confident, and this time around is going to be any different. But just looking at the chart, I'd say that 150 level and the 50-day SMA, your next resistance areas that you want to get cleared.
Okay.
Where do you see the next level on Rocket Lab? You have 67.55. Let me see here.
Lulu pulled back off of those highs there. Remember, Lulu reports earnings after hours here today. Broadcom was the other big one. Let's check in on Broadcom real quick. Broadcom also the opposite direction. This actually sold off and bounced a little bit. This actually looks like it's moving with tech.
67.55 in a Rocket. I like that as a resistance area, but I think there might be one earlier, and that's going to be at about 62.50. If you draw a line at 62.50, like a horizontal line, and you look at the price action in October, you can see what I'm talking about. I think that's your next resistance area before the one you mentioned. But I do like the one you talked about there, 67.55. Yeah, I like that next. I don't know what you mean by doing a Lebowski, but the different takes on that has been great. I love that. Yeah, it's just like your opinion, man.
We are all Walter Sobchak right now, I feel like.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Yeah, phone's ringing, dude. Oh, man. They talked about doing a sequel with that. I'm kind of glad that they didn't.
Yeah, me too. I think they can only ruin that. Jeff Bridges is off his rocker now. So, all right. From near the highs, Velo. What happened on this one? Velo 3D. Did we have news that caused this move?
I don't know.
This was news from yesterday. So this was SpaceX news from yesterday. It looks like it's just kind of continuing on that.
So Rigetti is trying to turn around here after a series of red candles. What's up?
Sorry to interrupt, 13, but I just saw by glancing up that Iger and Altman are going to be doing an exclusive interview on CNBC. Remember, we got the news this morning about this partnership here with Disney and OpenAI. Looks like they're going to talk about that on CNBC as an exclusive.
Are they going to make out?
Maybe. I don't know.
It would track. Now, VELO, it's up nicely this morning. It's continuing from yesterday. I think this I don't know if there's news on this. Velo doesn't look like it. It looks like the news was yesterday, and it's just continuing on relative volume. But that's interesting that this is printing 3D printing parts for SpaceX Raptor, working with on multiple programs with Anduril. That makes VEL look pretty attractive, knowing what those two companies are doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of like VEL, but I don't think I'd be a buyer right now. It's when it's going on a run and has an RSI of almost 29. I think I'd wait for a pullback, but this looks pretty good.
Eric, take care of yourself.
Take care, Eric. You also have a golden cross that's about to happen. I think this is going to be the first one since, oh my God. Give me a second. Okay, so it might actually be the first one ever. It did have a little bit of a crossing in December of 2021, but it only lasted a matter of days before it fell right beneath it in January. I think this is pretty significant to have its first golden cross ever, and it's been on the market for years. So, and here's another thing: if this is one such 3D printing company that gets going, does this ship lift all the crappy boats? Do we see some of the other 3D printing names start to go as well?
Well, let's check. Let's take a look here. 3D Systems, ticker DDD. 3D. This is up 4% here today. This actually did this report earnings just a couple of days ago?
Maybe, let's see.
December 9th, no, announces an equitization transaction. So an aggregate principal amount of 31 million for 2026 notes and 16.6 million shares. No, so it was a dilution event here that took 3D Systems down. The other one there was SSYS. That was one that we've traded here before. I haven't done well on this at all, but this was another one. This also higher by 1% here.
All right, we might be on to something then. So let's if you have a list of 3D printing names, let's see if Bello is the model that takes us up.
Here, let me see what I got for you. I know I have a 3D printing watch list. It's old though, so it might not even have Velo on it. Let me see. 3D printing. Oh, it happens to be at the top because of Alphabet. Okay, cool. No, and it had DM on here, which we need to remove.
Yeah, because that
SGLB needs to be removed. Let's add Velo. So I've got 13. I've got Velo, DDD, SSYS, PR, LB, NNDM, and MTLS. If any of you have other 3D printing stocks, let me know. Any ANY, got it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert and Joe.
Well, nope, that was Robert.
Oh, okay.
That was Robert. He mentioned it. I just was saying it because he said it. Beat is turning back up here. I think some of these names might be recovering. Let's take a look here. Looks like Pets is having a bit of a time there. AXIL, so getting support from the 200 EMA. BTTC, this area that I was pointing out that might be support, has caused a little bit of upside, but we're still not able to clear the 9 and 15 EMAs yet. So need some more volume to get through those. And if we do, then looks like 780 is the next resistance just before VWAP. CB looks like that's trying to set up to go higher. Rocket Lab pulled off of the 60 level, kind of going sideways. It's getting some sideways action here in the market. And then kind of looks like we were trying to get a reversal in RGTZ. That's also going sideways. I think I'd still kind of wait.
You know, I was going to say, it kind of looks like it might have just been moving with the Qs, right? Because the Qs pulled back off that really super bounce. Dow, by the way, just super strong here today. And some of those financials still at the high. Sorry, 13.
Beat is making the way back up to the trend line. This visit could be the move that takes it through the trend line and actually closes above it.
All right, Iger now live on CNBC. I can't hear what he's saying, but he is live.
All right, so what's that doing to the Disney stock?
Great opportunity for our company to enable customers to engage with our characters. So basically, so far what he's saying is that the AI generated Disney characters are going to be easier to interact with. Well, I can't wait till that makes its way to the theme park.
Yeah, I still don't think you're going to be able to build a snowman.
I can build a snowman. I'll build a snowman today. I'll build a snowman by 3 p.m. if you want, just to go along with our Lebowski references here today. No problem.
You must not have seen Frozen.
No, I've never seen Frozen, and I've seen the Big Lebowski probably 1,000 times. So that's basically what happened there.
Planet Labs lost 17. This looks like the momentum's starting to swing to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if VWAP test came next. And yeah, so Walt Disney Company, since Iger came back on, the stocks kind of turned red. That's funny to me. You know what? I'm going to invoke Walter and drink my coffee.
I'm finishing my coffee.
That's what I just did. MIGI, this lost VWAP trying to hold up at these above 920. Don't know how long that's going to last. Beat backing off of the recent move it had over 2, just lost 2 briefly. But Rocket Lab is still trying to push up back over 60. We'll see if that ends up happening. Kind of a lot of sideways action in the market right now.
Yeah, you know, we kind of got this bounce that basically took us right to the pre-market high area, and we just kind of hung out there.
Yeah, I think this.
Now we are above 684 and it's 685. We'll see if we close above that.
I was just going to say we're holding above the previous all-time high of 685.54. Wow, this has been a pretty good support and resistance level. This actually gave support toward the end of the after hours trading, and then we just fell right through it in pre-market. Came up and tested it as resistance, even traded over it several times. Now, if the price comes back in, I'd be leaning on that 685.54 area as a support level. We could still end up going back up to that 688.91 previous all-time high, but let's see what happens at 687, because that was a previous support area in the after hours, and I think it's going to be resistance if we do get that move up towards it. Is he saying that he's never seen that movie?
Yeah, which movie? Are you talking about Lebowski or are you talking about Frozen? I punted on that because I wasn't sure what movie he was talking about.
I think he means The Big Lebowski.
He literally just sent me a GIF on Twitter from the Lebowski with the Jesus. So, I mean, it seems to me that he has seen it.
Sometimes the memes transcend the movie, and people are seeing the memes before I can't tell you how many times that people have watched movies and they see a certain scene of something that has become a meme, and they go, "Oh, that's the meme." Have you had that experience yet?
Yeah, I think I have. I'm trying to place one, though. I'm trying to think of him. You know, some of these Disney movies, like the SpongeBob one where he's like hunched over, like I've never seen that.
Like I'm gonna get up out of here. That one.
yeah, that one. The Grand Theft Auto one. Oh, here we go again. I mean, I played that game, so that
Lord of the Rings has a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but I've seen Lord of the Rings like a billion times, and I've read the books. Okay. So,
yeah, but I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like when somebody watches it for the first time and they see Boromir saying that one does not simply walk into Mordor, it's the meme.
I made one of those memes for the market.
Thank you, perfect example. Perfect example. He saw the 999 Hitler meme before he saw Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, okay. That's probably a good one. Yeah. Here's that Lord of the Rings meme that you were mentioning. Mm-hmm. There was one day where all I could think about was that meme because the market was absolutely ripping. Let me upload it here for you real quick.
Meanwhile, he does that beat still rising. It's back above 2. It's coming up to test the trend line. Planet Labs. A lot of these movers from
here you go, 13.
Roll over. When was the market ripped 70 handles on volume Monday morning? What day was that from?
This was years ago. I mean, this was years ago. This was one of those days where on Friday, this was probably Trump won. This was one of those days on a Friday where the market was getting pounded. It might have been on the whole Russia hoax, Mueller stuff. I can't remember the exact thing, but I remember the market getting pounded on a Friday and being like, shit is not actually bad right now. I'm going to try buying this. And then we came in Monday and the market was just on fire. And I'm sitting here like I'm playing for a 20, 30% bounce on the options. They're up like 180%. And I'm just like, I'm not just taking profit right now. Like I am straight up banking hard on that. So I figured I'd throw that meme together.
I think that sounds like it might have been 2020 when this was, because that was when we had a lot of wild price action, a lot of big drops, a lot of big rallies. Rates were low.
Yeah, let me see if can I like inspect this and see like when it was downloaded. I know this is not important, but you've got me thinking about it now.
And I'm still going to keep an eye on these names.
Modified. January 8th of 2016.
Oh, wow.
9-year-old meme that I've saved. Let's go. Let's go. You guys could call me a meme hoarder if you wanted, and I wouldn't fight you on it.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done this or anybody in the chat, but there was an evening where we went on to like meme generator, and we just looked through all the different ones that have been submitted, and we spent hours just dying.
You can very easily lose hours of your life going through meme generator. So that is for sure.
So funny. Now,
my favorite meme out there right now is Monk Temptation, though. That is you could do so many good things with it. So many good things with it. It's my favorite one. Okay,
that is a funny one.
I'm digressing here because I don't see
And I was just looking to see if I can answer a question here about where to watch The Big Lebowski, since people are talking about it. It seems like you're going to need a subscription, obviously. Prime Video appears to be able to do it.
I own it on Amazon Prime. I paid like $5 for it or whatever.
So there you go. Prime seems to be the service you'd want to in order to get it. Although it does look like it's available on AMC Plus, YouTube, and Apple TV.
Speaking of Apple, we talked about this one. This still has a potential. Tenzin, I had asked you about this earlier. You did say that this looks to go higher here. It's holding in here off that. It seems like 276 is the spot, but maybe we can get back to 279, 280 on a potential break higher from here.
Okay, so we did come back down and test that 685.54, so that just happened. If we're going to get this support to work for us, it's going to reverse and trade back up higher, and we're going to want to see 687 prints following this reversal. So let's see if we end up getting that. Volume does seem to be waning. It is already past the 1030 time, so it's already, the volume that we did have is kind of left for the time being. We're going to go and have that brunch and all that good time. But you might not get that volume until later.
Jay, I'm glad that you were seeing this too. I've been commenting on this all morning. The divergence has been around all day here. Dow up 400 and the NASDAQ down 200. You don't see that every day. Indeed, you don't. And I would agree with you. It does seem to speak to the value trade. And I'm almost wondering what to make of that the day after the rate cut. I know we talked about a potential sell-off. I guess we leaked in the after hours. We're basically unchanged here. We're down 0.25%. That's more than unchanged. So we're down 0.25% here. But let me ask you, Jay, for the rest of the year here, we've talked about a potential bullish December or good vibes, if you will, heading into Christmas. Do you think that the value names are going to outperform the end of the year here? And are you still on adding value for 2026? Just out of curiosity.
RGTZ making its way back up to VWAP. I'm thinking that could get rejected here unless the market, rolls over and starts selling off. Then I think RGTZ will move through the VWAP. But if we're expecting, the SPY to bounce off that support level I mentioned and go higher, then it's kind of doesn't really work out for RGTZ. So we could get the resistance at the VWAP if we do get that. Rebound in the SPY and in the Qs.
Jay, I like small and mid caps versus large cap tech. Yes, me too. And I like small cap too. I guess to be more specific for you, I guess I'm wondering more about like big cap value. Definitely not tech. I think we all pretty much agree. It looks like there's a rotation out of that. Maybe it picks back up with the AI trade, but that might be in individual names. I still think that rotation out of tech is coming. And I would imagine if we're going to be on another rate cutting cycle into 2026, that small caps would outperform.
I don't think that we're necessarily going to get a complete rotation out of tech. There's going to be some downside, but I think it's just going to have slower. It'll probably trade more slowly to the upside this next year. I think that you guys are right about small and mid caps performing better. I think that's certainly going to be the case. But I don't think that it's going to lead to some real bearishness in tech. I think you're just going to kind of see some more broadening out, and tech is still going to continue to rise, just not to the levels we had this year and the past years.
I think you're right.
Take care, Judge.
Take care of yourself, Judge. What do you think about Xerox? I mean, what is that company? How are they evolving?
Yeah, Jay, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to go a lot higher. I'm not really on the. I think Google is probably better positioned for more upside. Same thing with Microsoft, but some of the semi names I think are going to not move as well as they have been. So I think that's kind of what we might end up seeing next year. What do we think about Xerox?
Yeah, that's what I was saying there. How did Xerox evolve? Like you're saying here, founded more than 100 years ago at 257. Well, that's great that it was founded more than 100 years ago, but that's not a pro for a trade. How is the business evolving? I mean, do people even copy paper anymore? Like a lot? I mean,
yes, they do.
Okay,
They do.
shows how much I know.
I have a friend who's in this business. I could try to get him on here if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in talking to industry experts. I clearly don't know the industry very well. What's the bull case for Xerox?
Well, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Nice trade barrage on Hood.
I could find out what he knows about the industry and where he thinks it's going. And last time I talked to him about it, he said there's still a lot of companies that still use copiers. Yeah, I'll find out. There's an interesting falling wedge that we're trading down into with Xerox. So it seems like this is set up for a pretty nice reversal at some point. Couldn't tell you when. This thing just continues to sink, but at some point there's going to be some support coming, and I would think it might be under 2, but I couldn't tell you when we're going to start to reverse. I haven't looked into this company enough, but let me talk to my friend and see what he's got to tell me.
Webcoin says that Xerox can print money. The chart looks really, really brutal. But I mean, if you're talking about, oversold or beaten down names making a return, and this maybe fits that bill, I just don't know what the bull case is here, clearly.
Geez, Jay, this Tower Semiconductor is wild. This one, I could see this one coming in way. Yeah, this isn't like a large cap, is it? I mean, it's 14 billion. I don't think that's really anywhere near, AMD or Nvidia or anything like that. I would absolutely agree that something like this would come back in, but the larger names, they'll come in too. But I think they're fare much better than something like Tower Semi would.
Positive Trader said, I used to be in the printing business. I have a hard time seeing Xerox going anywhere, in my opinion. That's what I mean. I mean, I'm open to it. I could very easily be wrong. I'm wrong often. I'm just wondering what the bull case is here. I guess I just don't know enough about it.
Rigetti had a nice reversal off that consolidation area. It looks like it found support toward the bottom of that consolidation from the after hours. Recaptured 65 EMA. The other EMAs in VWAP were back over 20 now.
Love this. Buffalo by Bicycle. I got inspired to step up my options selling thanks to this week's guest. Adam Mesh gets it done, guys. He's awesome. And I love that he was outlining some of those, what I think he called them, professional trades there. Good on you, Buffalo by Bicycle. Hopefully it continues to work for you.
The demand for energy in the next 10 years is going to be great. Very hard to play it. Jay, I think the turbines are one of the better ways to go. I think because it's not just for natural gas; it's also for nuclear. That works on both sides, and I think that GEV is one of the most well-positioned companies.
How are we doing on that? Thank you for reminding me.
One of those most well-positioned companies for that whole theme.
Oh yes. Yes, dude.
Oh, nice. That seemed really came in, didn't it?
Dude, we might not have to wait. Thanks for the reminder. I was going to check here. Near the end of the day, folks. We are getting the pull. Now, here's the thing, just to kind of amend this. I was talking about this trade plan earlier. The key for this trade is that it does need to hold this area. So the fact that we're down here right now is one thing. If it closes here and holds this, that would be our trigger. If it just blows right into this and it's like, F this, I'm going lower, then don't go long when the stock's trying to pound lows. But if it holds this area, boy, we right there. Gads is asking, what app are you guys trading on? Well, the app that you see here is Benzinga Pro. This is our financial newswire here. I'm actually using just my broker. I use Thinkorswim.
Yeah, turbines, solar, and nuclear. Those are natural gas turbines. It's natural gas, solar, and nuclear. I think that's going to be the energy infrastructure that we're going to be going forward with. We're seeing solar farms pop up every month, so we know that's happening. We're seeing the demand for natural gas and coal-fired plants. I don't think we're not going to be seeing any new coal-fired plants built. they're just reopened and maybe repurposed for temporary time. But natural gas, that's the big going to be the big energy producer of electricity for us before we get nuclear, because nuclear is still a ways down the road, and we can get these natural gas power plants up much quicker and with less regulation. Beat made the $2 break. Hallelujah. Let's see where that's going. 214. It's back above the trend line. Let's see where we have more resistance. So we're still climbing. We got some support underneath it from a bidder.
I have this going right through the trend line, by the way.
Yeah, it's through the trend line. Looks like 225 is next. And if it continues to climb, 245 after that. Just look to the left. You'll see a lot of support and resistance areas. Those two I just mentioned look like the next ones. And if it continues to climb, I think 280 would be one of those as well.
Miners exploding new highs. Nugget GDX.
Axel, here we go. New session highs. We just broke through we moved through the 65 EMA. We get back testing it and the VWAP as support, finally making a bigger move through here, but we're still chewing through this sideways consolidation from the pre-market. So got to get through the supply zone. That doesn't end until about 965, 975. So got to make our way through there. Planet Labs found some support down near VWAP, not exactly at VWAP, but down near it, trying to turn around and go back over 17. Next door loss at 65 EMA. This may come down to, it might find support around 290, but I think it may end up coming down to 280. Any thoughts on EXK? And also getting asked about what do I think about SMR for small reactors? Let me get to EXK first, and then I'll get to the SMR one. So Endeavor Silver, and this is what, a miner in Canada. Let's see here. They have precious metal properties in Mexico and Chile. Okay. I don't know enough about this company. Let's take a look at their income statement. They lose a lot of money. I get the sense that they might have to raise capital. So.
And this wasn't one of the Latin America plays that we discussed on Happy Hour either.
I don't think so. I think it's.
No, it isn't.
I think it's like we'll double check here and make sure I've got this correct about where they're out of. So, I don't want to see pictures. I just want information.
They sold one of their mines to focus on core projects. Let's see what some of the price targets are here.
Yeah, I'm trying to just get an idea of where their headquarters is, but
sure looks like 11 to 16 is where the price targets range.
All right, let me go back to the chart here, because they lose a lot of money. It's been on a tear because it's part of the critical minerals theme. There's a trend line that you could draw from October through December here, or November, December, and I would say that if we do make a visit up to this trend line again, there's a good chance we break it. And it's not going to be on anything fundamental. It's going to be totally on this theme of lower rates, the value of silver coming up. I don't even know what the price we're at this today. Did we get over 62 yet, or we come back in? But anyway, I'll look at that in a second. I would think that if you use that trend line as kind of a guide of where a potential breakout might happen, that would mean that just under $10, you should see you're going to want to see some volume expansion here that takes it up through that trend line. That's about the best I've got here for EXK. I like silver. I own it. I'm glad that it's been having some fantastic prices, price increases. and that could still continue. So if that continues, then maybe this stock does as well. We're at
Now,
63.65. Wow.
For the AVAV question here, David was asking, is AVAV off the 200 a good entry? So a couple of things to consider here. It might be. What I would rather see, and an exclusive to AVAV, but what I would rather see in this case is a move beneath the 200 and then a very quick reclaim, like ideally within 3 days. I would say if you can reclaim that, I'd feel pretty good about that. The other thing that we've been talking about on AVAV is that despite this being the leader in drones right now, and drones going to continue to be a theme. I mean, the Department of War is telling us that they're going to continue to add drones. They're going to need to utilize that. The reality is that competition is growing in this space by an astronomical amount. And I think that is clearly affecting AVAV. Now, one more thing here. You can kind of see the beginnings of it on the daily chart, might be a little bit more clear on the weekly chart. We might be forming a head and shoulders here. All right. So if I'm looking at the weekly chart and I've got our left shoulder here and our head here, right in here is where we would expect to form that right shoulder. Now, if I go back to the daily and we take a look at this, it's quite possible that the stock does recapture or bounce off the 200 and then trade into that shoulder area. So what I would say is that if you're playing just a strictly bounce trade here off the 234, I would watch this one, and I would not necessarily be afraid to take profit if this thing traded back up towards 300. I don't know that we're immediately going to go right back to the highs that we saw recently here in October.
I was also asked about one second, SMR.
Let me put that on the chart here. We got 3 minutes. Close us out here with SMR.
So the price action hasn't been great, obviously. We did have a pretty sizable drop. Like it just literally got cut in half. And we're facing a death cross here where the 50 is crossing the 200-day SMA to the downside. That's probably going to lead to some more selling here, but support might be coming. I think you're going to, there's two areas of support that I'm interested in. One looks to be about 16, and the other looks to be at just above 10, maybe 11. If we lose that 16 support, so those would be the next two areas that I could see the price going. I don't know when this is going to turn around. My understanding is that they're still a ways away from these being developed where they're going to be actually used to generate power. So that's kind of why I'm more on the side of natural gas as being the big winner here in the near term.
Okay. Good stuff there on SMR. Jay here mentioning AVAV. The valuation is very rich at a 70 PE. That plus competition. I don't think it's necessarily a guarantee, but maybe you do get a technical bounce off of that level. So we shall see how that all goes here.
Rocket Lab over 60 and Planet Labs over 17. And looks like RGTZ was over 20. It went back down beneath VWAP, but hey, we're still seeing some nice price action in a lot of these names. Beat is now putting in new session highs. A lot of these movers still looking pretty good, folks.
All right, 13, we're out of time. Closing words for the group. You kind of just wrapped it up there nicely, but officially.
I just kind of wrapped it up. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. I'll be back here tomorrow. We'll trade and close out the week and have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
Bang, bang, 13. Really good stuff. All right, folks, we are done here for this Thursday. As 13 said, we'll be back at this again tomorrow. Make sure that you have a good rest of your Thursday. Good luck if you are playing Broadcom or Lulu for earnings tonight. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll see you tomorrow.